Now, our feature presentation.
And now, being recorded in front of a live studio audience inside a Golden Corral at Wayne Manor, it's the most random show on the internet. It's TBK Live! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the only show on the internet that believes the Golden Corral is 5-star fine dining. Welcome to TBK Live.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I fucking love the Golden Corral.
To let you know, by the way, my name is Richard, and joining me as always, joining me is our, I don't want to say interim anymore, because I think you're kind of in this spot for a while.
I'll take it.
I gotta think of something really random here. Well, you know, fuck it. Is the Randall to my Dante, Brody. Which is
what up, true believers? What's going on?
True believer.
To be here.
True believers of what?
True believers of everything that we do here at TBK Magazine.
The House of Random. That's
yes.
By the way, we are 2 days away from Pride Month, and everyone knows this has become a huge thing here. And for the first time ever, we are releasing House of Random T-shirts, and I am so fucking stoked about this.
Mm-hmm.
In drag community, if you're part of a drag family, you're part of a house. So we are going with House of Random T-shirts all month long, and those proceeds,
that's dope.
And all the proceeds from those shirts go to awesome charities. You can read about those charities once the shirts get posted. Don't forget to pick up all your other shirts at Shop TBK, tbkmagazine.com/shoptbk, including our new Striking a Chord and the Brody and Richard Show, as well as the new Brody and Richard Show shirt that goes up in June. The era of buttfuckery begins.
I gotta tell you, there's one story. One time I went to Warped Tour a long time ago. It was like, I don't know, like mid 2000s. And the Offspring were there. And that had been the first time I was ever going to see the Offspring live. So I went and bought a shirt. And his shirt on the front has a dude in a mohawk driving a Cadillac with a smoking gun. And it says The Offspring on it. And on the back, it says, stupid, dumb shit, goddamn motherfucker. Because that's the lyric to the song Bad Habit off their 1994 album Smash. And I wore it everywhere. Like, I still have it, but it's beat to shit now. And I made the mistake of wearing it to church once. I don't know if I ever told you this story before.
No, let's just jump right in. You wore a terrible shirt to church. I've got a boner church story. Fuck it. Let's just start from the beginning. Who gives a shit today? Let's go.
So, like, I wore a hoodie, and it was hot in the church, so I took it off. But I completely forgot that I had the shirt on. So when I took it off, all the people in, like, our church, like, our community growing up, like, the church that we went to was everyone in the neighborhood. So everybody knew everybody. So my parents were, like, doubly embarrassed because I'm sitting there kneeling, praying to Jesus with a shirt that says, stupid goddamn motherfucker on it. And it just, like, I was never allowed to wear that shirt in public again.
That is the very definition of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Goddamn while praying in a goddamn church.
Yep.
First of all, I have two of the stories. One, I had a Stone Cold Steve Austin talking T-shirt. So way back in the day, like in 1998, 99, I want to say it's 98, the Home Shopping Network had a deal with WWE, and they would do T-shirts, and one of them was this Stone Cold Steve Austin talking T-shirt, and we happened to win it. My mom won it. And she's like, don't wear it to school with the voice thing in it.
Oh, what did he say in the shirt?
Austin 316. Hold on. Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. And
that's awesome.
Give me a hell yeah. And I think there was one other one. And there was a third. And that's the bottom line. Okay. So there's 3 skulls. Whichever skull you touch would be a different saying. It's in the 316. So I wear the shirt to school because I have a cool wrestling shirt. At least I thought it was a cool wrestling shirt. I thought I would get all the chicks. I got none of the chicks. So, so I forget to take, because the talking thing was just snapped in with buttons. So it would just come up, like you'd snap it on, it's fine. I leaned up against my desk and I forgot that it was there and I forgot that it was on. And the next thing I hear is I lean into the desk and it's just dead quiet. We're taking a test in 7th or 8th grade English. My teacher was really pretty though. And all of a sudden you hear, Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. And I'm going, oh, fuck. Fuckity fuck. Luckily for me, wrestling was so popular at the time, I'm sitting next to two people who also have on Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt.
So you took them down with you.
I was not the one that got in trouble.
Oh, that's so fucked up. I bet they were pissed.
Oh, God. It's just like, who has the talking t-shirt? And everybody's just kind of looking at each other like, do we honest to God tell who has the talking t-shirt? Because no one knows that any of these shirts are talking or not. Because they're so, they're not the traditional looking Austin shirt. So one of the shirts has a talking mechanism. Luckily, I was able to pop it out before she came over to inspect who it was. And it was
sly motherfucker.
Yeah, I did not get in trouble. The person that she did get in trouble, I need to become Earl. I need to make a list. I've got to do better things. Like the person that did get in trouble ended up getting an 8th hour and had to stay after school. I felt really shitty about that. I did buy them lunch the next day.
Well, that's mighty nice of you.
Oh, they were fucking pissed. Fucking pissed.
I was the hero in my high school for one. I went to a Catholic high school, all boys, and we would we had to dress in shirt and tie Monday through Thursday,
and a plaid skirt and knee-high socks. Oh, what?
Yep. No, you're not wrong. And then
we all would
on Fridays
the
we
Britney
could
Spears
wear
video.
Dress down days. But typically it was you had to wear the school I went to was called Brother Rice. And we had t-shirts and other stuff. So you had to wear a Brother Rice themed shirt, but you could dress down. And then sometimes we could, they would have dress down weeks where you could just come in and wear whatever you wanted.
Your school had a fucking casual Friday?
Yeah, we had casual Fridays.
That's fucking crazy.
Every once a month we would have casual week where if you paid $5, you had to wear a button. You could dress in whatever clothes you wanted, like jeans, t-shirts, sneakers, whatever. And then, that was during my heaviest punk dressing days. I'm still a punk rocker. I still love that music. But
did you ever wear eyeliner? Did you ever wear eyeliner?
I did.
You look like one of those guys who would wear eyeliner. I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just
the studded belts, the chain wallets, the black fingernails, the works. I was deeply entrenched.
So my best friend in high school, one of my best friends in high school, the exact same way. He never talked in high school, and he would always talk to me because he hated talking to everyone else. And I swear to God, you got to stop robbing banks while we record.
I don't know, man. Got to get them money.
My God. Continue on.
So I wore. I had a navy blue Dickies hooded sweatshirt with a bunch of punk band.
Who the fuck owns anything Dickies? That's not punk at all. That's Walmart chic. That's Walmart realness.
Yeah. So I had a hoodie that had a bunch of punk band patches on it, and I had my jeans and everything, and I wore a Bad Religion t-shirt. And if anyone who knows what Bad Religion is, their logo is the Ghostbuster symbol, but instead of a ghost, it's a crucifix. So I wore that to an all-boys Catholic high school, but I had my hoodie on over it, thinking all right, well, no one will see. Well, me and 4 of my buddies all had the same theology class together, and our teacher was the most uptight theology teacher you could ever imagine. Imagine Mr. Mackey, but he was teaching religion. He looked kind of like Mr. Mackey too, to be honest with you.
Jesus is good. I'm kind.
Okay. Goes bad. Okay. So he, my buddies, we all sat in the same row, and they were all "We'll give you $20 to take your hoodie off and wear it the rest of the day." because like our theology class was like second period, so it was like right at the front of the day. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to get in trouble. They're like, come on, we'll give you $20. We'll give you $20 each.
$20 is $20 fucking dollars, man.
They said, we'll give you $20 each. I'm like, sweet. So I took my hoodie off, and it's just a plain black shirt. It says Bad Religion. It's got the symbol on it. And I'm sitting there, and like our row was like towards the back of the classroom, so he must have not noticed it at first because the class went by for like 10 minutes without saying anything. And then he stopped in the middle of the class, and he's like, stand, like he said my name. He's like, I need to see you outside now. So I get up, and I walk out, and he's, talking to me in the hall. He's like, what do you think you're doing? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, that shirt you're wearing, that's inappropriate. I'm like, but it doesn't have any cuss words on it. And he's like, yes, but it's making a bold statement about religion, and you're in a Catholic high school. You need to either turn the shirt inside out, or you need to put your hoodie on, or I'm going to call your parents and send you home for the day.
Call my parents,
motherfucker. I didn't get in trouble with my mom and dad, so I acquiesced, and I just put my hoodie on because I didn't want to turn the shirt inside out. And when we were walking back in, everyone started clapping.
Slow clap, like...
Yeah, like everyone started clapping, and the teacher, he got like super pissed, and he's like, everyone stop. There's nothing to be proud of. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and I don't remember the rest of what he said, but I sat down, and like everyone, like I made like $60 that day for being like a defiant of the Catholic high school.
So you were like the Han Solo. You were the Gothic Han Solo of your high school.
Yeah, more or less. So I mean, that's my little heroic story. I mean, I didn't really actually do anything heroic, but everyone thought I did.
So at the time, I was with my ex, and she would wear really short skirts to church. I don't know why this is all getting brought up all of a sudden. Apparently, guys, welcome to live. I don't know at this point. We're all over the place. We have topics.
We'll get to them.
At some point. Hey, at least we're not talking about how horrible Game of Thrones is this week. So
you know what? To be honest with you, one thing I was super excited about getting back to the show is not talking about fucking Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there you go. So I was my ex never wore short skirts, but the one time she did was to church.
Mm-hmm.
And during church, because we would sit in the very back in like the couple pew, like it was just two. It was just for
you
two.
Fucking finger banged her in church, didn't
you? It was the other. Like she would do stuff and try to flirt with me enough to make me kind of lose myself. So in most churches they'll have you stand up and shake hands with everybody.
Yes.
Do you know how awkward it is to try to stand up and shake hands with like people who are 60 years old and older with a boner?
Yeah, pitching a tent in church.
Because
not that I know, but I could imagine.
I'm wearing khaki pants, so I'm fucked.
Did you have pleats? You could have just blamed it on the pleats.
No, I did not. So what did I do? I hit it with my Bible. Because I'm like, I'm just going to stick the Bible here and carry my Bible around and make it look like I'm a good Christian boy, which in all fairness, I was not. So I did get a handy J in the parking lot, though, so I can't really say much.
Oh, man.
There's your moment of the
All right. So let's get to the topics. I want to start off by talking about Riot Fest, if I may.
If you may. Yeah, let's do
it. Again, as I stated previously, I am a big punk rocker. That is my favorite kind of music. It has been since I was a freshman in high school, even earlier than that. And I've always, what I like about music is I like it to be fast, I like it to be loud, and I like it to be catchy. And I feel like punk rock kind of embodies those three things. So, I've always gone to, Warped Tour. I went to Riot Fest, I think, one year. Or not Riot Fest. Ozfest one year.
Ozfest is a fucking experience.
What's up?
Ozfest is a fucking experience.
Dude, that was... I could do a whole episode.
I have never been so fucking high in my life as I was at Ozfest. Look, I'm a very big proponent for weed. I'm going to 100% say it should be legal across the board. But at Ozfest... I am telling you now, if you don't smoke weed, you are not part of Ozfest at least once. Holy tit sacks. I think at that point, I'll be honest with you, I think I smoked at 11 in the morning and do not remember anything else. It was that great. That's some good shit.
Dude, I got to tell you someday about the first time I got high. Woo!
You probably fell asleep and humped a porta potty.
No, I was watching Evil Dead 2, and that was not a fun experience.
That is definitely not something you want to watch while high. Neither is Twin Peaks, but that's another talk.
And you know what's fucked up is that it's the first time I'd ever watched Evil Dead 2.
Oh, jeez. All right, continue on. Riot Fest.
All right, so Riot Fest. So, like, I like going to concerts. I love punk music and all that sort of thing. And last year, for Father's Day last year, since it was my first year as a father, my wife bought me and her tickets to go to Riot Fest last year. And the lineup last year, like they had released the lineup like a month before Father's Day, and like I had seen it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the greatest concert lineup that has ever been. Like, to kind of set the tone, like Riot Fest last year had like Weezer, Taking Back Sunday, Dropkick Murphys, Sum 41, Elvis Costello, Jerry Lee Lewis, Blondie, Run the Jewels, Incubus,
Love
Alkaline
Run
Trio,
the
Bad
fucking
Religion.
Jewels.
Huh?
Love Run the Jewels.
So, like, Fear, the Bouncing Souls, like, it was, the Aquabats were there, like, it was, like, I was reading the lineup, and I'm thinking, like, this is one of the greatest concert lineups I've ever seen, like, I have to go to this, and I didn't even say it thinking, like, I wasn't trying to angle at her to get the tickets, I just kind of offhand made the comment.
Bullshit.
No, for real, like, I really wasn't trying to get her to buy the tickets, I was just kind of like, yeah, that'd be cool to go to, like, I just would, but I didn't assume that we were going to go, especially since we just had the baby, and I didn't think we would have the time or the money for that. But we ended up going, and it was super, super fun experience. Blink-182 was supposed to headline last year, but literally the week before the concert, they pulled out and said, for whatever reason, they never gave specific reasons why. They just said they weren't going to be there. So they substituted Blink for Taking Back Sunday, Run the Jewels, and Weezer were the three bands that came in and took over for Blink. So it worked out.
That's actually a really good replacement for one band, though.
Absolutely. So I was upset at first, but I was not complaining because those are three really good bands. But then, literally, the last day of the concert, they started selling early bird sale tickets for the following year because this year is the 15th anniversary of Riot Fest. So my wife's like, do you want to go again next year? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I would want to wait till I see who's playing. I don't want to just buy tickets and then it end up being a shitty lineup. So for Christmas last year for Christmas, she bought us 2 3-day passes to Riot Fest again.
Yeah.
Because we had found out that when Blink canceled last year, they went on social media like a week later and said like, all right, we're sorry we couldn't make it, blah, 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 blah. But we are for sure going to confirm we are going to be back to headline next year for the 15th anniversary, like no questions. So, and me and my wife don't have a lot of musical tastes in common, but one band that we do, like I got her into and that we're both big fans of is Alkaline Trio. And, Matt Skiba, who is one of the lead singer of Alkaline Trio, is now a member of Blink-182. So she bought us 2 3-day passes to Riot Fest based solely on, the strength of Blink-182 being there.
Right.
And then flash forward to today, they announced the rest of the lineup. And I'm going to read this to you.
This lineup is a who's who of 80s, 90s, and now. This
is like the who's who of like music in general almost. So like, here's the lineup. This is for the 15-year anniversary of Riot Fest. Blink-182 is headlining. Slayer is doing their final show in Chicago ever.
Fucking Slayer.
Bikini Kill.
I don't know Bikini Kill.
Bikini Kill is fucking amazing. They're like kind of like garage band, like punk alternative. It's so Riot Girl music. It's so good. You have to listen to it. You will love it.
Gotcha.
The Raconteurs.
Love the Raconteurs.
Rise Against.
Love.
The Flaming Lips.
Love.
Jawbreaker, Ween, Block Party, Die Antwoord.
Stop for one second.
Fucking...
Before you go any further, do you know anything about Die Antwoord?
They suck.
Okay, I completely agree that they suck, but they're so weird that I kind of need to see them.
if I see them in passing, great. But there are so many other bands on this list that I want to see that I no. So Die Antwoord, Patti fucking Smith, Taking Back Sundays coming back, Rancid, Violent Femmes, The Fucking Descendants, the B-52s,
Rock Lobster,
Dashboard Confessional, Against Me, Pennywise, Streetlight Manifesto, one of the best ska bands ever, Anthrax, fucking Andrew WK, Testament, the Get Up Kids, the fucking Village People.
Okay, this is where I stop.
The Village People.
Okay, so hold up. So, that Village People concert is going to be the show stealer of the weekend, right?
I cannot wait to see a bunch of fucking punks and metalheads mosh pitting for the YMCA.
Young man.
Like, that is... I can't wait to see that happen.
I said young man. Or
fucking the Village People. Less Than Jake. Hot Water Music. Gwar.
I didn't even see Gwar. I had Gwar. That's
Save
great.
Ferris.
Love Save Ferris.
H2O, Teenage, like, it just keeps going. There's, like, this lineup is even better than last year's lineup. And it is, like, a who's who of, like, punk, ska, and metal.
I'm a little bummed out you left out Lucero and the Struts, but that's just,
the Struts, the Lucero, like, there's, and then what the cool thing is, like, there's a bunch of bands that are playing, like, they're doing full album performances. So, like, Taking Back Sunday is playing Tell All Your Friends and Louder Now in their entirety.
I'm going to see
who Against Me is?
If I go, I'm going for Against Me.
Against Me is playing Reinventing Axl Rose and Transgender Dysphoria Blues in its entirety.
Which is 2 fan-fucking-tastic albums.
Dude, Transgender Dysphoria Blues is like one of the best punk albums of all time. Hands down. The Flaming Lips...
I'm not the biggest fan of the Flaming Lips, but I can appreciate it.
Senses Fail. Like, this is I was really upset because Warped Tour is done.
There's a lot of little tours popping up like this. Like, okay, so yeah, Warped Tour is done, but they're like these little festivals are now popping up, and it's almost the same lineups in the same venues. Mm-hmm. And I'm 100% okay with it.
But then, listen, like, so to put this into perspective, I'm looking at right now, Warped Tour is doing its 25-year anniversary this year. And they're doing, like, listen to this lineup. This is the lineup for their show in Atlantic City. And you tell me which one you would rather.
It's not a bad lineup, though. Just want to point that out there.
Like, listen, tell me which one you would rather go to. So at Warped Tour, June 30th in Atlantic City, they have 311, A Day to Remember, Andrew WK, Anti-Flag, The Aquabats, Bad Religion, Big D and the Kids Table, Blink-182.
Stop. Big D and the Kids Table?
Yes.
I might pick Warped Tour.
Blink-182, Bowling for Soup,
that's
CKY, Good Charlotte, Less Than Jake, The Offspring, Real Big Fish, Save Ferris, Simple Plan, The Starting Line.
I love you.
Taking Back Sunday.
I love you, but I think I might pick Warped.
But you know what the sucky thing is?
Both.
Warped Tour is not coming anywhere near us this year.
Yeah,
at all.
It's Atlantic City. There's 2 California shows, and I think there's one other one, and I don't know where it is.
Atlantic City, the California. I'm trying to look too. There's not,
because I know they're talking about doing a Warped Festival next year, and they were talking about Dallas. Because I get little nuances here sent to me occasionally now, so I would be cool with a Warped Festival.
That'd be cool. So I mean, like, Warped Tour's got a lot of good bands, but I think I would still have to pick Riot
How about both?
If I could go to both, I would absolutely go to both.
I don't know if I'd want to go to Atlantic City, but both. I just don't think I could. No offense to our listeners in New Jersey, but But all the
But
offenses.
it's just like Riot Fest is like I'm so like riding high and amped on that because like I didn't think it could get much better than last year, and they fucking totally blew the doors down. Like there were some bands they were speculating were going to be there and didn't show up. Like everyone was convinced that Green Day was going to show up and do an album performance of Dookie since it's the 25-year anniversary this year.
God, if that happened, they'd sell out in less than a minute.
There was like, because Riot Fest is kind of known for their big reunion acts. Like The Cure came together for the first time in a long time there.
Did the Misfits do that last year there too, or 1 year there?
No, Cure was like 2 or 3 years ago. The Misfits, came together with Glenn for the first time.
That's what I thought.
At Riot Fest in a long
That's
time.
What I thought.
So it's just like I think the big reunion this year is probably Bikini Kill.
Okay.
Like I know you've never heard of them, but like they have a very, very huge cult following. You got it. Once we're done today, you got to check them out. I'm telling you, you will fucking love their music. But yeah, no, that's just Riot Fest this year. Like what blew my mind, and we were kind of talking about this a little off air before we went on live. The fact that I can say I'm going to a concert lineup that features Blink-182, fucking Village People, Slayer, Block Party, Patti Smith, the B-52s, and Anthrax all on the same lineup.
Rock
Huh?
Rock Lobster.
Rock Lobster.
That's all I can say. Every time I hear B-52s.
So it was just like, when I saw it, because they had been teasing they were going to release the lineup for the last like couple weeks, and I'm like, I just want to know because I'm anticipating going to this. And then I woke up around like 10 o'clock today, so I was at work real late last night, and my phone was going nuts on Reddit saying like, because I'm following all the threads that are talking about Riot Fest, and everyone's like losing their shit, and I checked, and
nerd,
I lost my shit too.
Nerd. That's all I got.
So
I'm 100% into Riot. Like you asked me, like, you want to come to Chicago, and I think we're gonna like. Okay, so number one, I think we're gonna be in Chicago 2 weeks before that. So I'm like, we may go back for Riot Fest though, because that's really not that bad. My dumbass might apply for press. Fuck it.
Oh my god, that would be fucking dope. Like the biggest disappointment for me is I was really, really, really pulling for the Interrupters to be there this year.
Right.
But you can't have everything, and taking that into account, like this lineup is still a fucking dope concert lineup. Like I've never been more excited to go to a festival or a concert in my life than I am for this one.
So the excitement there is like, I'm excited for that one. Like I'm going to have to bring this up. Next month, speaking of concerts, next month I get to go see Weird Al. And I don't know if anybody knows anything about his new tour, but he's going to be on tour with a string quartet. Like it's going to be his band and an orchestra.
What?
Doing all of the Weird Al music. It's going to be this elaborate stage show. Yeah. I'm 100% in. I'm just like, Weird Al, like eat it with like a string symphony. Like, fuck it.
I'm laughing because I'm looking at your Facebook page right now of the GIF you just posted.
The Aquabats one?
Yeah.
Which is coming up in July as well. So it's the Aquabats and Real Big Fish.
That was like, it was so weird because I've always liked the Aquabats, and my wife has never listened to the Aquabats before. And when we went last year, she was like, she came away like that was her favorite show of the whole fucking weekend.
So I'm trying,
mine too.
So for anybody, if you guys could send me emails on telling me how I can get my wife to watch the Aquabats Super Show and just kind of like,
she's got to, man.
I'm trying to be like,
we came home from Riot Fest that year, and we spent the whole night watching their super awesome rad show.
Burger Rain.
Burger Rain.
Love that shit. And I'm trying to get Ashley to watch because I'm like, Weird Al's a bad guy in it. And I'm like, you gotta see this.
Like, you know what it is? And I said this to my wife, and she didn't necessarily agree with me, but I still stand by it. I think the Aquabats, like based on the production values and the level of quote unquote cheapness.
I swear to God, if you say the 66 Batman series, I'm gonna come to Chicago and kick you in the dick.
No, it's like the punk rock equivalent of Doctor Who.
Ooh, that might be my way of selling it to Ashley. That might be my way of doing it.
It's like the punk rock ska equivalent of Doctor Who, because they fight aliens and the cheap kind of but sincere effects, and it's like a way goofier than Doctor Who, but it felt
not by much. Not by much.
I felt like watching it, I'm thinking like these dudes could totally show up in a Doctor Who episode and it would totally be okay.
So for anybody out there listening who has no idea who the Aquabats are, the Bat Commander is also the same guy who created Yo Gabba Gabba.
Mm-hmm.
Just fuck
also, me. A little tidbit of information, Travis Barker got his start drumming for the Aquabats. In fact, he was their drummer on the very first Aquabats album.
Did not know that, actually. So
yep.
I'm 100% behind bands that are fun, and the Aquabats, to me, just define fun band.
They are the ultimate fun band.
And I've been trying to see them live. Like, okay, 2 years ago, we're at Fan Expo Dallas. And we're outside, we're heading to the car to, like, go put up, like, because, you know, when you're doing press, you're going to see shit you want to buy. Like, it just happens. That's just part of it. And we're going to put back some prints in the car. And as we're heading back in, or heading out of the building, we run into a group of people cosplaying as the Aquabats.
Oh, dude, every year we go to con, there's always somebody dressed as the Aquabats.
This is the first time I've seen someone cosplay as the Aquabats. And I thought you could have thought it was the actual fucking Aquabats. Like, I was.
The costumes are so simple, but they're so awesome.
They are so great. I recommend seeing the Aquabats Super Show. Go out of your way. You guys
have to watch it, pull it on YouTube. I think all the episodes are available on YouTube.
Seriously?
I think so, because that's how we watched it.
I will go out of my. I knew it was on Netflix for the longest time, and then Netflix.
I don't think it's there anymore, but I'm almost positive it is, because we watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it on YouTube at my parents' house.
Aquabats are the shiznit. So next month, or I guess in 2 months, July 4th, Stranger Things 3. Woots. Who gives a shit? But I know there's some of you that do. But they're bringing back new Coke for Stranger Things, and part of me wants to know if it's actually the new Coke formula or if it's just going to be regular Coke in a new Coke can.
The cynic in me thinks that it's just going to be regular Coke in a new Coke can, and they're just going to brand it as such, because they're probably thinking, like the executives at the Coca-Cola company are probably thinking, these idiots will buy anything, so let's just slap a new label on it.
Yeah, this isn't like Pepsi. This isn't like Pepsi going out of their way to bring back Crystal Pepsi, which I was on that bandwagon years before they brought it back.
Oh, I thought they should keep it, because I fucking love Crystal Pepsi.
Man, I drank like 30 of those things. I still have 2 unopened. Like, I'll never touch them. Like, that's a part of me now. I'll serve it over ice one day when something great happens. Like, it'll be like wine. It's Crystal. How about a Crystal Pepsi 2015? And just see what happens.
But I mean, honestly, like, it's cool. Like, it's a nice little bit of brand marketing, I guess. But I don't know. The cynic in me wants to believe that they're just going to pour regular Coke into a can and they're just going to slap Coke to it. Like, what makes Coke 2 different than regular Coke? Like,
I wasn't alive during that time frame, so I have no idea. I know people hated it.
Well, I wasn't asking you, searching for an answer from you. It was just kind of more of like posing a question to like the audience out there, I guess, like people listening in on this. Like, I would like to know, because is there more caffeine? Is there less syrup? Like, I would like to know what the true difference is between Coke and Coke 2.
I think that it was more, or like they used real sugar in new Coke.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I'm like,
true. That could be it.
Come on. Which, I mean, I love the Pepsi with real sugar, but the only down thing is if you don't drink it fast, its fizz is gone. Like, it loses fizz so fast. The Mountain Dew with real sugar is really good, though.
I think the best soda with real sugar is the Dr. Pepper.
There's a Dr. Pepper real sugar?
Well, like, I had lived in Texas for a year, and then they made, like, Texas is, I think, if I remember correctly, the home of Dr. Pepper. Like, or that's where it's most popular at the very least.
Probably the most popular.
They had, you know, the woman that I was living out there with, her family had told me, like, if you've ever had Dr. Pepper, you've never had Dr. Pepper. So they get me a Dr. Pepper and I drink, and it tasted so much better than it does up here. And it's only because it's made with real sugar, but it's crazy how much a difference in taste it is with regular, natural sugar or whatever versus, the, chemically bastardized version of sugar or whatever you want to call it.
I enjoy, it's a good soda. Good God. I hated Dr. Pepper for the longest time. Like, I thought Dr. Pepper was the drizzling shits for the longest time of my life. Like, I couldn't get into Dr. Pepper because every time I drank Dr. Pepper, I thought I was drinking some sort of medicine. Like,
my all-time favorite soda is, and always has been, and will always be, Wild Cherry Pepsi.
Yeah, I'm just a Pepsi person. Like, I'm 100%. If I could stick my dick in Pepsi, I probably would. No offense to my wife. But
no, I'm not. I don't really like Pepsi outside of Cherry Pepsi. Like, I don't really like regular flavor. It's weird. I know. My wife buys Pepsi Max, and Pepsi Max is good. Like, I'll drink that.
It's okay.
But I generally speaking, I like Coke products. Like, I'm like Coke. I like vanilla Coke. Diet Coke is like the only diet soda I will ever drink. Like, I like the Coke products as opposed to the Pepsi products. Although Code Red Mountain Dew is fucking the tits.
The tits. Yeah, no, I don't think this is this is what Netflix is going to do. Netflix is going to do these advertising things where they're going to bring back all this retro shit. And this is how Netflix is going to get advertisers. We're just going to see product placements in all Netflix shows.
That's what, you were saying. I think you kind of skimmed over that a little bit when we talked last week.
Yeah, and I'm not happy about this because I don't want to be watching, say, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And then all of a sudden...
Would you rather have that, or would you rather have Netflix with ads?
If you put an ad before a show, like, honestly, I think...
No. You would do it... It would be like...
Commercial breaks?
Before the show. It would be during the show, too.
Oh, so we're talking actual commercials. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see,
it's like... Because if you buy Hulu, there's two levels of Hulu.
Right.
There's the ad-free Hulu, and then there's the ad-supported Hulu. The ad-supported Hulu is a little cheaper, but you have to deal with not only ads at the front of each episode, but you have to deal with ads at every
not necessarily
10-minute interval.
Because there are sometimes where they'll be like, here's a 3-minute ad. You don't have to have another commercial through your entire show.
But that's not, like, it's more often that happens, but not as often as, say, like, every 5 or 10 minutes gets broken up by an ad.
Well, like a regular TV series would be, yeah.
Right, like you would be watching it on regular, network or cable TV, and having experienced ad-free Hulu, I never want to go back to it.
Oh,
I
God.
never want to go back to the ad-supported Hulu.
There was a religious special that was going to be on Fox, and I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was Joseph in the it was one of the religious musicals.
Jesus Christ Superstar?
It might have been that one, but it's either that one or Joseph in the Technicolor. I don't remember. But
what's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Whatever it was, that ad played. We had Hulu with ads. That ad played so much. Like, it was one commercial break. It was that ad 6 times in a row.
Well, and that's the aggravating thing. So, like, we live in this culture of binge watching where you pick a show and you just binge through it as fast as you can because you have it all available to you. And if you watch, like, say, like, I'm watching, like I had told you guys last week, I'm currently binging through 24. I'm just about done. I've got 2 more seasons to go. It's taking me longer because they're full 24-hour season or 24 episode seasons at full hours each. So it's taking me quite a bit longer to get through them. But if you binge, like, let's say you start watching a show and you binge like a couple seasons throughout, like, however long it takes you to do it, typically you're going to have the same set of ads throughout the entirety of that entire series. So now not only are you having to deal with ads at the front of the episode and during the episode, it's the same fucking 3 ads recycled every goddamn time.
Oh, God. Yeah, that one ad played, I think, it was 6 times in a row. Nothing else played. It was just that one ad back to back to back.
And, like, sometimes they'd be cool ads, like, ooh, I could watch this. But then sometimes it'd be like, oh, God. And then after a while, you're like, this is the worst ad I've ever seen because you just watched it like 27 million times.
Yeah. And I'm over. And that's when we decided after, like, that one run of commercials, I went, I'm done.
I'm upgrading the $3. We're getting the ad-free version.
And that's exactly what we did. Because, I mean, fuck that shit. But I don't know if I want to see the ad product placements. Like, I don't know if I want to be watching like Glow and then all of a sudden there's an ad product placement for dog food and there's no dogs in the show. Like, I don't want that.
I would, but you see, here's the thing. I don't think they would sell you on something that would take you out of, like, you're not going to watch Stranger Things. Huh?
If the money's right, they probably would.
I feel like, I mean, maybe with some of the smaller shows that don't have the budget of a Stranger Things, perhaps. But, like, Stranger Things is a cultural juggernaut, for better or worse. And, you know, like, Stranger Things Netflix was doing fine off the backs of that show before they started to go through this whole model of product placement.
Right.
So, in watching a character drink a can of Coke in Stranger Things doesn't take you out of the story, because that's something that kids and people do. It'd be different if you're seeing, like, you know, 11, you know, cutting the lawn with a new weed whacker. Like, that'd be a little off-putting.
Here's 11 using a Billy Mays awesome auger. We're just all,
right.
What is
like,
she
that'd
doing?
Be a little, that would take you out of the scene for sure. But, like, it's about these kids being kids, and what do kids do? They go hang out at the mall and they eat at the food court. So watching them drink a new can of Coke doesn't bother me so much, because that just feels natural to what people do. But if they start doing shit, like I said, with weed whackers, or they're like, you know, hey, check out this new brand of solar-powered light bulb, like, and they're advertising that on fucking, like, a Game of Thrones spinoff on Netflix. Like, wait a second, there's no electricity during that time. You know what I'm saying? So, that kind of thing, I'm with you. I don't want to see that kind of product.
Like, all of a sudden in the middle of Stranger Things, a cell phone starts ringing. Let me pick this up on my Galaxy S10.
Yeah, like, Mike's, like, trying to figure out where the creature's at, and he pulls out his, like, iPad Pro and he Google Chromes it. Like, all right, that's taking it a little far.
That wasn't specific to the time frame. You naughty
But if it's
people.
specific to the time frame and it's natural to that universe, then it doesn't bother me. But if, like I said, it's got to be natural. If it isn't, if you're just shoehorning it in just to get the money, then people will rebel. But I would still rather have that than ads. Like, I cannot understate how much I despise. Like, when you're watching something on TV, it's different because you're used to it. But, like, if you're going to, like, Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu.
Oh, Amazon Prime's doing ads now, and it's pissing me off. Like, I'm done. I don't know if you know that, but Amazon Prime is.
My friend lets me use her Amazon Prime account, and I let her use my Netflix account, so we kind of piggyback off each other. And she has her Amazon Prime account doesn't have any ads, so I haven't run into that issue yet. But, like, if I'm going to binge watch a show, like, when you're watching network TV and you're watching episodes on a weekly basis, ads don't necessarily bother me because whatever. But when I'm if I'm going to lay down in bed and I'm going to binge watch like 6 or 7 episodes of a TV show in one sitting, I don't want to sit through all them fucking ads, especially the same ad over and over again. So I would rather, even if it is some bullshit product placement that totally takes you out, I would rather have that than the ads.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That's just me.
I'm hoping that Netflix doesn't make this a typical thing. But however, if we get cool stuff out of it, if we get retro products coming back, might be okay with it.
They're doing it because they know that we're all suckers for nostalgia.
It's
no matter how much we rage about how stupid it might be or how like oh, this is the dumbest thing ever. You know, at the end of the day, we're all nostalgia nerds. When we're gonna buy that, like I have a Netflix account, right? So I have access to the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things whenever I want to watch them. But I went out and I bought the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray because they came packaged in cases that resembled old VHS Betamax tapes. And when you open it up, it looks like an old VHS tape. It's got the discs inside.
First of all, stop. You actually went out of your way to purchase on DVD a show that will never be taken off Netflix?
I did because of the nostalgia factor, because it was prepackaged to hit those nostalgia buttons. Because I remember going to the video store and renting VHS tapes, and then being in those like super big like boxes, like those comically large boxes, and
Disney
they packaged the series that way. So that is literally the only reason I bought it. I knew that I have Netflix. I knew that I could watch Stranger Things whenever I wanted, but I bought it.
$20 says you will never put in those DVDs in a DVD player. You will stream instead.
No, I've actually, every time I sit down to watch Stranger Things now, I watch the Blu-rays instead.
Nobody wants to get up and change fucking disc on a regular.
But here's my line of thinking, and I'm going to get a little nerdy right now.
Just a
when
little.
You're watching it on Netflix, you have it on Netflix, so you can stream it wherever you want. But your quality that you're streaming at is dependent upon your connection to the internet. So, like, you might be streaming it at like a 1080p or a 4K resolution, but then if you're in like a busy traffic period with your internet provider, that could get downgraded if there's a lot of people getting onto the internet at the same time. Whereas if you have the Blu-rays, you pop it in the Blu-ray player, that is a solid high-def picture quality and sound quality.
How many episodes are on each disc? 3?
The first season is their first season. No, they're both 2 discs.
So they have, what is it, 10 episodes on 2 discs?
No, it's the first season's only 7 episodes, and the next season's only 8. So it's 4 and
4.
Like 4 and 3 or 4 and 4.
No, I don't get. I'm not getting up one time just to change a DVD. Like, fuck that. I can just stream it and just hit okay. Are you still watching? Sure, and that's all I have to do.
But I'm a nerd enough that I'm watching a show, and like another thing is that Stranger Things is very visual oriented. There's a lot of cool visuals in terms of like the special effects and the way they film to make it look like an 80s movie. I want a good quality. Like, I don't want it to get all pixelated and garbagey and shit, because we have awesome Wi-Fi here. We have amazing internet. But sometimes, especially during high traffic periods, the quality of whatever we're streaming goes down, and it doesn't look bad, but it don't look great either. Whereas if I have the Blu-ray, I can just pop it in my Blu-ray 4K player, and I've got a consistent high def picture that I don't like. And I've got my TV and my PlayStation, which is what I use as my Blu-ray player, set up to where all I got to do is just reach. I don't even have to get out of bed. It's just like right there. So I just reach over, pop the eject button, put the next disc in, and I'm
even
golden.
Have to put anything in. You could just turn it on, hit the Netflix.
I'm not going to argue with you about this.
By the way, fuck Apple. Fuck Apple. Fuck Apple.
I'm an Apple fanatic. So
here's the thing. I love Apple. I have been a proponent of the fucking iPhone for so goddamn long. My first one was a 3GS because where I lived in small town bumfuck Missouri, you couldn't get an iPhone 1, 2, or 3 until later on. Because when I moved to Arkansas, it's like you can have smartphones now because apparently backwoods Arkansas is so far ahead of where I was in bumfuck Missouri. But here's my problem with Apple. Look, I get it. You want to update your phone. I appreciate that shit. I love the fact that you are giving me updates on a regular. But for the love of god dang tits, why the fuck do you have to kill our batteries so fucking hard every damn time? Like, Jesus, fudge. Like,
I disagree. I think the battery problem is not Apple's fault. I think it's our fault. I think we're not utilizing our devices properly.
Horse shit. Okay, so why I don't believe this is because my wife is not a big phone user. Like, she's not on her phone a lot. Her battery life, before it switched to 12, before it switched to iOS 12, she wouldn't have to charge her phone for 2 days.
Which iPhone does she have?
7 Plus. This is. I'm even like, she does not use her phone much.
Okay.
So when iOS 12 came out, she updated it. She has to charge her phone every 12 hours. There is no effing way that, and I mean, even Apple say it's in the thing, like, it will decrease your battery life because the idea is to make you buy a new phone. That's all Apple wants, is for you to upgrade yearly.
See, I have the iPhone X, and I've had it now for almost, I bought it when it first came out, so over a year ago. And I've never, I'm a power user. I'm always streaming. Too. What's up?
I am too.
Like, I'm always streaming music or if I'm doing something around the house, like I'll have it propped up and I'll be watching Netflix on it. Like especially if I'm in the kitchen washing dishes and shit, like I'll pop it up to like listen or watch or whatever.
You're gonna watch your phone, but it's gonna probably be Stranger Things because you're a jackass who has them on DVD. I'm not letting that go. Never letting that go.
I fucking hate you so much. It's really how the user uses it. I'm a power user.
Oh, you're blaming me,
so
you jackass.
I am blaming you. It's not. Well, it can be on some level.
Well, they even said Apple's it kills your
fault.
battery. Like they even said themselves, it will kill your battery.
But they've made plenty of strides in recent iOS updates, and they've gone out of their way to acknowledge, like, yes, we know that you guys typically have a problem with our battery life. We are going to fix this for you.
But and they didn't with the 7s. Like they did with the 10. The new iPhones, yes. The generation, I'm not counting the 8s because the 8 came out at the same time as the 10, and I still don't understand that, but what the F ever. But like the iPhone 7 Plus, which was a decent phone for me for a while, it just lost all charge. Like it just would not hold a charge anymore.
Okay, so let me ask you, like, right, I'm going to get real technical right now because I'm also something of a tech geek. Okay.
Yes.
Every time, how often do you charge your phone?
Like I wouldn't if it got
I'm
down,
not talking like a full charge. Like, do you put it on the charger for like a few minutes when you don't use it and then pull it off? Do you do that a lot?
No.
Okay, because every time that the lightning connector enters the port and you plug it in and it's plugged into like a wall socket to charge and you pull it out, that degrades the battery. The more charge, it's very recommended that you once a month let your phone charge all the way to 100% and run it all the way down to 0 to get a full cycle charge. Because there are people out there who will plug their phone on the charger for a few minutes and then take it off right away to use it or for whatever reason. And the more full cycles you get in, the longer your battery life is going to last. If you're the type of person who plugs it in for a half an hour to charge it and pulls it off to start playing on it again, the phone is not reading proper battery life cycles, and it's going to degrade the battery. So I'm not saying that that's what you or Ashley did, but I'm trying to speak to my point that while, yes, Apple is somewhat at fault for the way they integrate their hardware and their software, we are also partially to blame for the way we use the phones.
Well, and here's the other thing to that too. So I have my iPhone set. Our tickets are on it for this concert, and then all of a sudden my iPhone decides to go, you know what? Fuck you. And just erases everything on my phone. Like all my security stuff just gone. And I went, this piece of shit. Because I've had
what kind of phone did you have?
The 7 Plus. I have the same one as my wife.
You had it? Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I had so many problems with that phone ever since it went to 12. Like it would drop signal. It all of a sudden, I would be in a 5-bar area, not move. Like even the police are pissed. I'd be in a 5-bar area, and I will be on the phone, and all of a sudden I will have no service, not moving, and then it'll be fine again. And that happened to me so many fucking times in the last 3 months.
And another thing that you have to. I don't want to sound condescending because I'm not trying to come off.
No. I'm pissed at Apple because this is a situation
when they release iOS updates. Like iOS 12, when iOS 12 got released, they released those updates not their primary focus is
the new phone,
new phones.
Yeah.
So while they make the hardware that they use, when they're writing the code for the software that they put on their latest version of iOS, they're not using the old hardware to write that code. They're using the new hardware. They just happen to retroactively retrofit that software onto the older phones, but it's not so even though the 7 Plus is only 2 or 3 years old,
yeah, it's
that's
2 years
10
old.
or 12 years old in tech years.
So this is my issue. Fuck them. That is my issue. And I'm probably the heaviest user of and Safari. By the way, Safari working on anything website related is a piece of shit.
Oh, I hate doing. Yeah, no, agreed. Like I'll tell the readers or the listeners when I used to send Richard articles back in the day.
Oh my God.
I wrote everything on my iPhone, and it was horrendous.
You try editing that shit.
I didn't have a laptop at the time.
Try editing that shit.
I had to write it on my iPhone. And you would get, my articles would come into you, and they'd be so there'd be so many problems and grammatical errors and typos and shit. And that's the best I could do at the time.
That's why your articles take a week to post. Because I'm like, nope. Because it always is like I have to go over it, like your iPhone Day articles. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Thankfully, my articles have gotten a lot better now that I got a laptop. Maybe it'll proofread somewhat before I send them to you. Son
of a tits, though. So working on the website, which even just pulling up WordPress, because we're built on a WordPress engine, and I'm like, this should not be that difficult to pull up, and it is a son of a bitch on an iPhone. I pulled it up today. I got an Android. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I got a Samsung phone. And I pulled it up today, and I was able to edit an entire article and do coding. And I went, this makes my life a fuck ton easier. Because now I don't have to be in front of my computer 24/7. I can just do a little bit of work on my phone, and I'll be done for the day. It's awesome.
That's cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here, even though I'm an Apple fan, I have... my wife has my old Apple Watch. I have an iPhone X.
I always wanted an Apple Watch. I'm not going to now, but I want a smartwatch because I was like, oh, this would be really cool to have. And then after this whole situation with my last iPhone, I'm like, I'm done with Apple for a while. I got to have a break. We're on a sabbatical. We are no longer seeing each other. If this was MySpace, Apple would not be in my top 8 anymore. This is bad.
You guys are on an indefinite hiatus.
Yeah, we are broken up for right now.
See, we're big. Before I met my wife and her friend / our roommate we're Android people, and I was the iPhone guy. And then once we all moved in together, we decided that we would all just jump on the same T-Mobile plan because it was just cheaper that way. So I converted them all to iPhones, and now they fucking love iPhones. My roommate's got an iPhone XR. I've got an iPhone X. My wife has an iPhone 8 Plus. My stepson has an iPhone 8. I have an iPad. My wife has my old Apple Watch. We subscribe to Apple Music. We're big fans. Or I'm big fans. I'm a big fan of the platform, I should say. But to the other side of the argument, I used to have an Android phone. I had a Droid back in the day. I used to have the last Galaxy I had was the Galaxy S5, which is a long time ago. I like the platform. I'm not going to sit here and rag on it. I just prefer the way Apple's iOS ecosystem works, especially since I have all those Apple products. It's just easier to kind of coordinate everything together.
Here's the perfect discussion I had the other day about this. So I think Apple's the best phone to do business on because everybody has an iPhone, but to run a business, I feel like it's an Android.
Android is, I agree. And Apple's good for simplicity and ease of use, and Android is good for customization and tech nerds and people who are power users.
Yeah, because my battery
really want to customize their experience from top to bottom.
I have not charged my phone in a day and a half now, by the way, and I'm still.
When did you buy this phone?
Saturday.
There you go.
Sunday.
It's a brand new phone.
Well, no, but my iPhone I still had to charge on every 12 hours, even when it was new, because I'm a power user and working on a website, it just kills it.
Well, take me for example. I put I work overnights at my job, so
you watch a lot of porn.
Huh?
You watch a lot of porn.
So much porn. So much porn.
If Pornhub could
Apple's probably
sponsor
got
me,
a whole wing of their filing system dedicated to
your porn
history.
Me
and my proclivities, so to speak.
What can you do with KFC gravy on Pornhub? Let's see.
Lord.
Brown gravy? Go ahead.
I just like the ecosystem better. I like both. There's pros and cons to both platforms. And plus to speak to the battery thing, like, so I
the new iPhones are
at
fine.
Amazon.
The new iPhones are fine. The new iPhones are fine because I almost got an XR. That was going to be it was going to be either the Samsung phone I got or an XR. And the only reason I talked myself out of the XR because, one, I do love the fact with Android you can put in a memory card and have a fuck ton of space. Like, you don't have to buy the phone to be the biggest on the market. You can buy the memory card and do the same thing.
You know, I used to think the biggest downfall of the iPhone was the fact that you couldn't expand the memory. So I agree with you to a degree.
But I had a 256 iPhone 7 Plus, and I never even came close to using half of it.
Well, I have a 64 gigabyte iPhone X, and I still, like, I download all my music, like, so I can listen to it offline.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
And I still don't even come close to hitting 64 gigabytes.
So here's something funny. I've got Apple. I pay for Apple Music, and Apple Music has an app for Android.
Yes.
The Apple Music app on Android is better than the Apple Music app on the Apple phone.
I don't agree with that statement whatsoever.
No, I do.
The fundamentals of that statement just don't
make
sense.
So here's why I say this. So when I was using my Apple Music app, so if I hit the shuffle button, it wouldn't shuffle. Like, it would just be like, nope. And then, like, music wouldn't... I had one issue. I had two issues with it. There was that, and then my Apple Music just started freezing, like, within a year. Just, like, froze up and everything. For some reason. And it could be the phone has 8 gig of RAM, too. Like, this could be part of it. But... the phone is
iPhones nowadays, they like have like 4 gigabytes of RAM, and like it's way, like, the 7 Plus is a great phone, but the level of technology, and even in the short time between the 7 Plus and the current generation, is just leagues ahead.
Yeah, the Samsung phone I have is 8 gig of RAM. Like, that is more than some computers I have owned, and I'm 100% fine with it. Like, I'm like, this is awesome, but the app runs so much more smoothly on the Android phone than I expected it to. It is so fucking weird. I don't get it. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna run with it.
So, like, when I used to work at Mario Tricosi, which is a hair salon for people who don't know. I had this friend. I installed Apple Music on her Android phone when I found out that there was an Android app.
Yeah.
And I have like a family account where I could put up to 5 people on my Apple Music, and I gave her one of the lines, so to speak, because it's only $14.99 a month, and there's like 4, like there were like 4 free lines. Well, 3 because my wife uses one. So I let her have one, and I installed the app on her phone, and I logged in and everything, and I could not disagree with you more. The app, maybe it was just because it was an older version of the app, but the Android, and she had a Samsung Galaxy like S8 or S9, so not a terribly older phone than what you have now.
I've got the Note 9 just to let so.
But the app was so buggy, and it was so slow, and it wasn't very fluid, and it was just super hard to do like even the most basic things.
Well, see, Apple just released this app within the last year and a half.
Well, then if they've updated it and such, then it's probably better now than when I last experienced it, and then I'll concede that point. But when I was using it for her, it was just the worst.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that this thing that it works as well as it does. I'm just really, really surprised.
Well, the Apple Music platform, like, honestly, I prefer it to Spotify. I think it's way easier.
I had Spotify. I hated Spotify. I think Spotify was shit. I enjoy Apple Music a lot more, and I know there's a third one. There's getting ready to be a third one, and I'm like,
I think it's just Spotify is okay for, like, you know, the thing that they do is like being able to adjust the sound quality. Like, you have like a little virtual mixing board, and you can kind of like virtually kind of mix your tracks to the sound preferences that you have, or that you or I have, or whoever. But I think the thing that I like about Apple Music is, one, I think they have a better selection of music, a bigger one certainly. I think the app is just easier to navigate. It's easier to like add stuff to a playlist, and it's easier to find what you're looking for because you integrate with Siri. It integrates really good with Siri. I think the sound quality is, even though it has less customization, I think the sound quality is better. I just overall think it's a better platform, to be honest with you.
It's just really weird that I just never expected for me to enjoy Apple Music as much as I do on an Android.
Apple Music on an Android phone,
yeah,
for sure.
That's the only reason I was like, if I can't get Apple Music, I won't get an Android. But then I saw that there was an Apple Music app, and I'm like, I'm 100% going to do this now. And I'm not.
Yeah, I think last time I checked, I have like 15 gigabytes of downloaded music on my phone.
Oh, I've got about, I think, 22. And it's just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. So it is time to reach deep into our bag.
Ooh, mailbag. I love the mailbag.
The mail's here. Come on. Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
Speaking of which, Blue Clues has returned with a new host. All right, there we go. That's what I've got.
Who they got hosting it now?
I don't know. It's some dude. That's all I know.
Some fucking rando dude.
So 2 mailbag questions, guys. Remember to send your mailbag questions to TBKLive at tbkmagazine.com, or go to the website and fill out the contact form at tbkmagazine.com. Just go under contact on the menu bar, and you'll find that beautiful contact form there. All right. If you could interview anyone, living or dead, who would it be?
Kevin Smith.
That's a really good choice. See, I thought about this one. I really did, because I was like, oh, I could do Kevin Smith, and that would be awesome. Because I mean, he's huge to me too. But I'm gonna go a different route. Andy Kaufman.
I could pick a different one too. Who?
Andy Kaufman.
Ooh, that'd be a good interview.
Because
no, go ahead.
No, I think I'm a huge Kaufman fan. For anyone who does not, I actually have a Kaufman wall. So, like, Andy to me was the greatest entertainer ever, because he was able to do stuff to fans that I don't know if anyone else could have got away with at the time. The dude read The Great Gatsby in front of an entire college crowd because he got pissed.
Yeah, that is pretty good shtick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I would want to list. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm good. Go ahead. No, you're.
I would Kevin Smith would be the number one for me, hands down. Like, no questions. But like, if I wanted to do like an actual like super like interesting like weird interview, I don't know. That's tough. Like, I think. No, that's good. Like, Kevin Smith is always the easiest answer, because I've always, if you've ever listened to his stand-ups or heard him tell stories,
the one nights the evening with Kevin Smith DVD sets, like the 1, 2, 3, and I think there's a 4th one, is so good.
Just like listening to him talk, I could listen to him talk about anything. So like, he's like my default. But if I had to pick somebody that I'd want to interview. I would want to interview George Martin. I just want to ask him, what the fuck is taking you so long?
So how popular was the first book when it came out?
It didn't reach the popularity that it knows today until the show became popular, for sure.
I didn't think so. Like, I mean, I had never heard of the book series until the show was made.
I think that's a lot of the people who watched the show didn't know it was a book series until the show started.
Which, I mean, I knew about Harry Potter before it became a movie. So, I mean, it's kind of like, when did George R.R. Martin sell his soul to Satan? Like, that's what I want to know.
I would love to talk to him, because his stories, as graphic and as bizarre as they are so rich and detailed and so full of
the literary world's Horton's fisherman.
Yeah. The president of the Gay Pedo Club.
Oh my god! Like, that dude, I love the look, but he looks like the bad guy in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Continue.
He does.
All he needs is a raincoat.
Like, reading those books Like, I've only read the first 2 and half of the third one. So, but reading them, they're just so very richly detailed, and he's such a good storyteller. Like, I just want to get a peek into his imagination. I want to know where he comes up with, because those aren't the only books he writes. Like, he has other books that he writes too. So I would just love to pick his mind and see what he uses for inspiration, where his ideas come from, because those are some of the best stories that have been told in a long time, hands down.
You know who wasn't a good storyteller? Nathaniel fucking Hawthorne. You want to know why Nathaniel Hawthorne wasn't? You know what? I'd interview Nathaniel Hawthorne and ask him what the fuck was wrong with you, because that motherfucker. We had to read the Scarlet Letter in school. Awesome, fine, I'm cool with that. But like the first chapter, or like whatever it is, 14 fucking pages about a goddamn rose bush. Why the fuck do I need to know 14 goddamn pages about a fucking rose bush? What the hell does this rose bush have to do with the fact that fucking Hester Prynne fucked some priest? Why the fuck does this rose bush have anything to do with that? Is the rose bush going to be wearing the letter A? I think not. Fuck the rose bush and fuck that book. All right. I don't know. I don't know what just came over me, but whatever.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah,
you need a hug?
I'm angry. Yeah, no, I do. I'm angry. I'm a tad bit angry today. Fuck him.
All right, maybe we should move on to the next one before somebody dies.
Before I have a heart attack. Okay. So moving forward. By the way, AEW Fighter Fest just went on sale, and tickets are only $20. Holy shit! I might make a trip to Daytona for that. God damn. Okay, so next, this is the weirdest question we've received.
Ooh, this should be fun.
I'm excited to hear your response to this. All right, so if you could clone yourself, if you could find a scientist to clone yourself, and then somehow you had sexual relations with yourself, would you be having sex or would you be masturbating?
You'd be masturbating.
Would you?
Like, because you're just... Well, first off, yeah, you would, because...
But you're not feeling it. The clone's... Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, the clone's feeling it, but you're not feeling it.
But you are the clone.
Yeah.
The clone is you. The only difference is that the clone doesn't have a soul. But that could be even argued that he might. Like, you are literally copied on a genetic level, everything, head to toe in this clone.
If you have a clone, does it work like twins? Like, if you feel something, does the clone feel it too?
Well, that depends on the literature. Like I was telling you earlier, I had just watched Jordan Peele's Us.
Right.
And spoiler alert, that's what that movie ends up being. The big twist is that they're clones, but the clones, everything the clone does is mirrored by the real world counterpart.
Oh, well, I had no idea. Well, there you
so
go.
Like, that's the lore he goes with. So like, if we're going off of something like that, I would say you're just fucking. It's masturbation because you're just fucking yourself.
Could you give yourself a handy? Like, could you just imagine, like, sitting in a car and, like, you're in the front seat and you're in the passenger seat and you're just reaching over, giving yourself a hand job?
That wouldn't bother me.
Or, like, giving yourself roadhead?
That would be cool as fuck.
Like, would you have? Like, would you be able to? Okay, so would you be able to comprehend it? Would it be the equivalent of having one of those outer body experiences? So, like, say you could feel this, like, you could still see the same thing the clone sees. So, like, you could see yourself going down on yourself.
That I think would be trippy. Like, if that's what you're trying to get at.
There's your mind blowing experience for the day, kids. Just like we get this. I get this question at least once a year. I don't know what's wrong with you people, but once a year I get this question.
Now, I don't doubt it, but I have to ask: are you making these up, or are these legit questions?
These are legit questions. These are legit questions.
These are good questions. I'm not gonna lie, like, very good questions. It's a really bizarre one.
I get it every year.
But,
ever since we started this show, I get I think it's from the same person. But we always get this question going: is cloning? If you clone yourself, is it masturbation or sex? Every year. And I try to answer it with every host, and I just recently got it again. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. Because everyone has a different answer. So,
well, I'd say it's masturbation. Because if depending on what type of clone we're working with, you're just fucking yourself.
Do you get sexy for yourself? Like, do you actually wear what yourself enjoys? Like, how does that, like... Like,
no, it's just low down and dirty. It's like, no, let's just do this.
No,
I don't need to impress myself. I'm already impressed by myself.
Oh, this is like the weirdest conversation I've ever had. Because, like, do you take yourself out on a date? Like, see, I'm one to be wined and dined, so I'm going. Do I take myself out? Like, do I go to a nice romantic dinner with myself? Like, how would that look if you're sitting there by candlelight holding hands with yourself?
That would definitely look weird.
Because we're going to the Golden Corral because that's fancy 5-star dining. So, speaking of that, so before we get into the nerd debate, I have to tell you, our town has been the town adjacent has been clamoring for a Golden Corral for like the last 10 years. Every time there's a fucking new restaurant getting announced that it's going in there, I would say 30% of Facebook users go, "Is it a Golden Corral?" I don't know what is so fucking great about having a Golden Corral. Like, I love Golden Corrals, don't get me wrong. But that is not a place I'm going to frequent. It's not like, look, kids, we're going to dinner at the Golden Corral tonight. So, we had a Western Sizzlin' just close, and they're putting in a Golden Corral inside the Western Sizzlin'. And it's
okay.
like, I'm just going, I don't understand how it has taken, like, why this town is so obsessed with getting a Golden Corral. But now that's how I announce where I'm from, is now I live close to a town that's getting a Golden Corral. Like, it's going on my business.
Proudest accomplishment.
Yeah, it's going to go on my business card, like, Richard Pruitt, and then right under it, lives in a town close that's getting a Golden Corral. Or lives close to a town that's getting a Golden Corral. That's exactly what's going on my business cards from now on. Just, I've never seen so many people fucking excited about a Golden Corral. Like, it's the
just
little
good
things.
Old country buffet style food. That's what it is.
I love their rolls. That's that. I mean,
everything. I love everything there.
So I got kicked out of a Golden Corral once.
Why?
Do you remember when they announced?
What did you do?
Okay, I can say that I take that back. I've been kicked out of 2 Golden Corrals. One, I made fun of a group of cowboys. They did not take too kindly to that. Because they were all assholes to the waitress, and I stood up for the waitress. And
you got kicked out for standing up for the staff?
Yeah. Because, there was like 35 of them. You knew they were going to spend money, right?
So stupid.
Yeah. The second time it was right after they released that chocolate. They put in that chocolate fountain.
Oh, that fucking chocolate fountain is amazing.
So, they have the skewers thing, and they have like the strawberries and the bananas and like whatever you want, like all of this like fruit and stuff you can put under it. And I go, you know what I'm going to put in that chocolate fountain? A goddamn pork chop. So I go over to the meat. Wherever the meat was, I grab a pork chop, honest to God, come back, put it on one of the same skewers they put all the vegetable or fruit on, and just stuck the pork chop in the chocolate fountain and just let it drizzle. And the dude that's like, and whoever's running the dessert stand just stands there and goes, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" I'm like, "I'm having some chocolate chops. Get out." So they called the manager over, and I got kicked out of a Golden Corral.
So you got kicked out of a Golden Corral for eating chocolate-flavored pork chops?
Well, because that could be a religious thing, and everyone loves chocolate, but not everyone loves pork. So, yeah.
That is so ridiculous.
I've also got kicked out of...
It's a funny fucking story.
I got kicked out of a Walmart because my pants fell down once, too.
Trouser incident?
Trouser incident. All right. We have not done this in a long time. This is going to be a bloodbath, kids. Guaranteeing it. For the first time in, I do believe, a couple of months, it is time for the nerd debate.
You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Fucking pants, you stupid.
The Bears. The Bears.
Treat yourself 2011.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, what is going on here?
It's now time for a debate between two people who lived in their parents' basement in high school and enjoyed cookies and milk. All right.
Did I talk over the intro?
You couldn't hear you anyway. You're good.
All right.
You're good.
I could. You better hand over ownership of the magazine to me now, because I'm about to pants you stupid.
I'll take things said to me on the first night I had sex for 200. I'm going to pants you stupid. What? What does that even mean?
This should be fun.
Like, that's a statement you say when you're drunk on natural light before you have sex. I'm going to pants you, bitch. Like, what? What?
Yeah, that's some shit you say when you've had a little too much Everclear to drink.
I'll take things that are probably said in the Alabama love seats for 200.
Oh!
Fuck you,
Way to make it
Alabama.
topical.
Fuck you, Alabama. Get your shit together. All right, so every week, man, I'm going to take a shot at Georgia or Alabama. This week it was Bama. All right. And Missouri. Fuck you, Missouri. Okay. So Ben Affleck is the best Batman, huh?
Yep.
Give me your reason why Ben Affleck is your best Batman. And don't say because he's Ben fucking Affleck.
Because he's fucking Ben Affleck.
There it is. No, Matt Damon's fucking Ben Affleck. How about those apples? Yeah.
I love that you picked that up. I was really hoping you were going to.
Jeez.
Why is he my favorite Batman? Well, like, he's my favorite cinematic Batman for sure. And he's my favorite Batman ever because the character that I grew up with, the version of the Batman that I grew up reading and that I liked was not the campy, the
animated series, right?
Shark punching bomb. Huh?
It was the animated series. And don't fucking
animated series. The animated series is amazing. Like, no one's ever going to be able to touch Kevin Conroy, but he doesn't count because that's just the voice.
No, he does count. He does fucking count. Because I feel like if we're looking at this as any sort of person who's played the character, cartoons count fucking too. No,
okay, fine. But you and I are arguing, first of all, between two specific people.
No. Now, here's the difference.
We all know who we...
No, there is. But, like, movie-wise, because, like, it's hard to compare a television series, which was what Batman 66 was, with the exception of the one movie, and that movie was never shown in America until after the show ran out. So, fun story there for anybody who does not know. The 1966 Batman movie was shot as a pilot to air the show in other parts of the world. It never came to the U.S. until after the first season had ran.
Mm-hmm.
But it is comparing... Even if you're going cinema, Batman, because that's, I guess, what you got now. Because I'm not going to... I'll take Adam West out of the equation because it's a television series, and it's still hard to compare television series to movies. Mm-hmm. But it's Adam West. That dude there's so many great stories from that show. Plus, Robin had to wear 2 pairs of tights because his dick was huge.
Or, let's not forget, Cesar Romero's painted over mustache.
So Adam West and Frank Gorshin, the guy who played the Riddler, used to go to key parties dressed in the costumes from their from the show and go to swingers parties.
Hey, baby, you want to fuck Batman?
And be in character the entire time.
Oh, God, I don't want to go to that. I didn't want to go to that because that just sounds so disgusting.
But you know that's kind of cool.
Like, I really wish I could have been a fly on the wall of that party.
Yeah, you'd been like, if I'm at a key party and Adam West shows up dressed as Batman and Frank Gorshin shows up in his Riddler costume, it's the greatest party ever. Not to mention, Adam West and Burt Ward used to tag team girls in their trailer.
Jesus Christ.
There's some great stories out of the 1966 Batman series. Some great stories. But yeah, no, okay. We're going to take Adam West out of the equation because I don't feel like we should be able to even have Adam West in this conversation because he's Adam fucking West.
By that measure, then we have to say Kevin Conroy.
Yes, no,
Batman.
We're going movies only. We're going to go movies only. We're going to go big screen movies only.
Like the only other person I could argue against Ben Affleck would be Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton was a good Batman.
And the only even reason I would argue Michael Keaton is honestly is like we kind of touched on earlier. It's nostalgia driven because that was the first Batman I ever saw. And he's really good as a character. But as an embodiment of Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight, it's never gotten better than Ben Affleck.
Kevin Conroy can actually be counted in this.
Don't you even fucking bring up the Mask of the Phantasm. Don't you even
I was going to bring up... That's not what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up The Killing Joke. Which was released in theaters.
But that didn't...
Suck on it. Suck on it. Not to mention, if we want to go this far, too. Does the Lego Batman movie count?
Absolutely not.
Because Will Arnett now is in this conversation.
All right, so let's lay the ground rules before we go any further, since some people, not mentioning names, Richard, can't seem to grasp the concept of what we're trying to accomplish here. We're debating between Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck.
Okay. Ben Affleck. Okay, so the worst one is George Clooney. No, the worst one's Christian Bale.
Val Kilmer.
It's Christian Bale. No, you shut your whole mouth. It is not Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer at least didn't have bat nipples.
Val Kilmer is the worst thing to happen to comic book cinema in the history of comic book cinema.
Apparently you never watched Catwoman.
Catwoman was an Oscar-worthy performance compared to Val Kilmer's Batman.
Oh, that's horseshit.
You shut your whore mouth.
There we go. That is horseshit. Val Kilmer's Batman.
You're horseshit.
This whole courtroom's out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order.
You can't handle the truth.
Shit. No, Val Kilmer. Okay, so Batman Returns is such a better movie than anything that came out until probably The Dark Knight, and even that's pushing.
Batman Forever, do you mean?
Yeah, Batman. No, yeah, Batman Forever. Yeah.
You can't even get your movies straight.
I said Batman Returns. Batman Forever is Batman Forever is my favorite Batman cinematic film. By the way,
Can I get serious for a moment? Can I try to guess why it's your favorite?
Yeah, no, I could 100%. You're gonna get it right.
Is it because it most closely resembles the Adam West goofiness of the 66
No,
Batman?
Because it has my favorite fucking villain.
Oh, the fucking Riddler. I forgot. You're hard on for the Riddler. He's a good villain. He's not the best Batman villain.
No, he's my favorite Batman villain. Look, I'm tired of seeing Joker. That automatically demotes everything for me.
No, I agree with you. The Joker is... I want to see some of the other villains for sure. Like I still want a cinematic representation of Clayface.
Yes, but it is not going to happen in this new series because I think we're getting the Penguin and Catwoman. Thanks, Edward Cullen.
Sparkly bitch.
But no, like even in the Ben Affleck movie, which I mean, honestly, he never got his standalone film, so we just get Ben Affleck and Superman, Batman versus Superman.
Come on,
and
let's
the
be
Justice
honest.
League.
Batman v Superman is a standalone Batman movie that features Superman. If
no,
that's
a
movie,
standalone Wonder Woman movie. Fuck you. Because that movie is not good until Wonder Woman shows up.
You're a fucking high. Are you huffing paint over there?
Well, actually.
All right, then that makes a lot of sense.
No, like I did not. Okay, so the opening scene.
Wonder Woman, the actual character of Wonder Woman, doesn't show up until the final battle scene.
45 minutes in.
No, you get Diana Prince. You don't get Wonder Woman. There's a difference.
When she shows up and her and Superman and Batman are almost like going to call dibs on her, which is I expected that to happen. Be like, dibs, Superman. Like, you want to know how you...
All right.
If you end up in a fight with Batman and Superman, you want to know how you win?
How?
Martha.
Oh, get out of here. Val Kilmer, to get back to the debate, is the worst fucking cinematic Bruce Wayne and the worst cinematic Batman that has ever existed.
George Clooney. George Clooney's the worst Batman. Come on.
I enjoyed his Batman more than Val Kilmer's Batman. I'm not saying it was a good version of Batman, but it's definitely more watchable.
So you put Batman Forever in the worst spot over Batman and Robin.
Sure would.
You, sir, are huffing paint yourself. Kids, do you want to know? Do you want to know what happens when you listen to punk music?
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! It's you know why? Because Batman Forever tried to be a Batman, the original OG Batman, the 1989 Tim Burton film, is good. It's not as good as people remember.
You know, it does not hold. It does not hold up well at all, though.
But it's still a good movie. Batman Returns, the second Tim Burton movie,
does not hold up even more.
Go fuck yourself. It's the best Batman movie ever.
I have to respectfully disagree with that.
And I respect your right to.
It's probably number 3. It's probably my number 3.
Okay, I guess I could buy into that.
It's in my top 3. Does that help?
A little bit.
I can go ahead and tell you now, any of the new ones with Batfleck is not in my tops.
Oh God, you're making it hard for me to like you right now.
Christian
really
Bale.
Hard.
Let's just go ahead and say, I enjoyed one of the Christian Bale Batmans, but it is not because of Christian Bale.
I enjoyed I enjoyed all 3 of them. They're all.
But it's
really
never
great
because of Christian Bale, right? But it's not because of Christian Bale.
No, actually, Christian Bale was the reason The Dark Knight Rises was good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bane as a character in general.
Tom Hardy's Bane was good, though.
No, was a good. I miss Mexican wrestler Bane, because if I'm gonna get a Bane, that's the Bane I want.
Anyway,
the Bane that's in Batman and Robin, by the way.
I'm so glad you saved this for the end of the episode. I really am. So Batman and Returns comes out, and then the studio tried to make an honest sequel out of Batman Forever, but it just ended up being a.
But it wasn't a sequel. To me, that was never. No,
it absolutely was.
No, it wasn't. I feel like so. Here's how I look at Batman. I feel like the Michael Keaton Batman movies are those are those. I feel like the Val Kilmer one's a reboot. Like the
go back and watch Batman Forever. They make references to the events.
Oh yeah, no, they do. But I don't feel like it's a sequel. Like, it doesn't look the same. All of a sudden, when the fuck did Gotham City go to fucking Technicolor? Like, how the hell does that happen in 3 years?
It doesn't look like the same movie. I'll give you that.
Visually speaking, I think it looks better than most of the Batman movies because it looks like a comic book.
Oh my God, you're giving me a fucking tumor in my brain right now.
Get to the chopper. And yet we haven't talked about Batman and Robin. It's not a tumor. Like, we haven't talked about Batman and Robin, and that one's not the worst one. Okay, look. The thing about Batman Forever...
I'm going to say something that's going to royally piss you off, so I really hope you're sitting down right now. But Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze is infinitely more entertaining than Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
You can send all your hate mail. Because I know this is coming. Like, nobody's going to agree with this. Mr. Freeze.
You can find me on Instagram at BrodyMan182. No, but in all seriousness, I want to preface all of this by saying this is just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to objectively state this as facts.
Oh, you're not like that jackass last week who was a dick on Twitter. Oh, speaking of which, I do have a follow-up before we continue this. That dude is banned from everything for life, apparently, so kudos.
Good, that fucking cockstain deserved it.
Okay, back to this.
So, Batman Forever is a sequel. It is, because it references the events of the movie that take place before it. Visually speaking, they look like 2 different films. I will give you that 100%.
It actually looks like a comic book come to life. The difference between...
It looks like what a studio thinks a comic book would look like in film form.
And I'm fine with it. No. I was fine with that look. That's a joke. Okay, so we know that I think Tim Burton was a producer in the other 2 Batmans.
No, he was the producer. He might have had a producerial role on the 3rd one, but he was absolutely absent on the 4th
I'm going to tell you now, I think he's a producer on both of those. I'm looking it up. I've got you.
Okay. Prove me. I mean, I'm very happy to be proven wrong, but I'm fairly certain he's not involved in the fourth one at all.
Producer. I have to click the producer button. Producer. Maybe it's Joel Schumacher I'm thinking of.
Schumacher directed and wrote Forever and Batman and Robin. Like, he was the one who spearheaded those two movies.
Because I thought he was, like, he's got credit on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
It's just, I don't have anything positive to say about Batman Forever. Not a single positive thing. There's not one thing like when I watch a movie, even if it's a movie that's a shitty movie, there's at least something I can walk away from.
No, he did.
Say,
okay, I am right. He did not produce Batman and Robin, though. He did produce Batman Forever.
Okay, so we were both right.
Yeah. Tim Burton did produce Batman Forever.
I can walk away from any movie and find something about it that I enjoy. I can't say that about Batman Forever. There's not a single enjoyable thing about that movie. Fucking 40-year-old Chris O'Donnell playing a 20-year-old character is just so bizarre.
Chris O'Donnell was like, okay, how old was Chris O'Donnell when those came out? There's no way
he's like 45 years old. Like, wasn't realistically, but he looked like he was 45 years old.
Christopher O'Donnell's age. Why is this something I'm looking up? He's 48 now, so he would have been in his 20s then.
It was not an entertaining movie. It was not.
Yeah, he would have been 26.
There's not a single thing that I can find that I enjoyed about that movie. And I used to champion that movie because I loved Jim Carrey growing up. And I loved Tommy Lee Jones. And seeing the two of them be Two-Face and Riddler was so awesome. But like watching it lately is just such a bad movie. There's fucking Nicole Kidman and it's like, oh God, it's every wrong choice they could have made.
Nicole Kidman was not in Batman Forever, man. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Take that back. Yes, she was. So IMDb ratings for the Batman films. Let's do this.
Okay.
The Batman 66 movie, by the way, has a 6.5. I'm putting that in this for a reason.
Okay.
Batman 1989, the first one, 7.6.
Okay.
Batman Returns, a 7. Batman Forever, a 5.4.
Okay.
Batman and Robin, a 3.7.
Okay, that's to be expected.
The new movies, Batman Begins, 8.2. The Dark Knight, 9. The Dark Knight Rises, 8.4.
What about the...
I'm scrolling. I have to get past all the animated ones. Because, by the way, DC makes great animated movies, if anyone has not seen them.
Dude, they're killing the animated movies. Like, Marvel's got the, live-action cinematic films, but DC makes some of the best animated movies, comic book-wise.
Batman v Superman's a 6.5, and Justice League's a 6.5.
So you mean to tell me that Batman v Superman and Justice League are higher rated than Batman 66?
No, Batman 66 has a 6.5.
Oh, so they're the same.
Yeah, they're all the same.
So the internet has judged you and said that Ben Affleck is as good a Batman as Adam West. Okay.
Yeah. But so they're even? Is that what I think? Thanks, internet. Fuck you. I want to know who has a better score on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, that's going to be... I'm looking
what do
that
you
up
mean?
too. Like, which Batman movie has the best score on Rotten Tomatoes?
Hold on, I'll pull that up.
I got this. I'm already there. No, I'm still going on my thing, by the way, that Val Kilmer's Batman's not that terrible. Like, Batman Forever is fun. It's not a great movie. It's just a fun movie. The Adam West Batman movie has a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Batman Begins has an 84. Oh, God, this is bad. Oh, God,
hold
this is bad.
Hold on. I want to follow along with you. I just about got this pulled up. Okay. So, let me scrolling. Okay, I'm there.
I just type in Batman. Okay, so Batman Begins has an 84%. Batman the movie, the 1966 one with Adam West, Burt Ward, and Lee Merriweather has a 78%. Batman from 1989 has 71. So right now, Adam West is the same as Michael Keaton because Batman Returns has a 78. Batman and Robin has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know that it's the worst reviewed movie of the bunch. I get it.
Batman Forever has a 39.
Okay.
Batman v Superman has a 27.
I don't agree with that at all. There's
Batman
no way
versus
Batman
Superman
v
was
Superman
terrible.
is worse than Batman Forever. You can go fuck right off.
Like, if I had my choice of watching Batman films, if I had a choice of watching all the Batman films, Batman v Superman's at the bottom of my list. It's not, it just, for some reason, that movie just did not get started. It just set in the same gear constantly.
The movie itself is problematic.
Until Wonder Woman shows up.
Why I hold that movie in such high regard is that the way Ben Affleck plays Batman is the pitch perfect Batman. Like,
no, the pitch perfect Batman would be Anna Kendrick. Shut up. That's a terrible joke. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to hell.
I had to do a Control Alt Delete reboot on my brain right there.
Because now you're thinking about Anna Kendrick singing as Batman.
There's no fucking way, and this is why I don't take Rotten Tomatoes seriously.
Oh, I don't.
There's
think Rotten
absolutely
Tomatoes
not a snowball's chance in hell that anyone honestly thinks that Batman Forever is a better movie than Batman v Superman.
There's a lot of people who think that.
Then they're called stupid.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming soon to TBKmagazine.com, we are going to do the fucking Batman movie tournament.
Oh, man.
We are going to put the Batman 66 film, 89, 92, 95, 97, all three Christian Bale films, the two Batfleck films, and we'll throw in an animated movie or two. And let's see.
You got to
wins.
throw it the Phantasm at least.
Well, I think I have to throw in the Killing Joke and Lego Batman.
Dude, Killing Joke is such an awful movie.
Oh, it is. It is.
Like, for the creep factor of watching Batman fuck Batgirl, it just like it was such like it's a tale of two movies. So like the Killing Joke is a really awful movie when you're getting the backstory on Batgirl / Barbara Gordon, because she's played up as this woman who's lovesick for Batman. And then she finally gets to have sex with him, and then she gets shot and paralyzed by the Joker. So, like, once you get to the actual meat of the real Killing Joke story arc, it turns out to be decent. But everything before that, with her, like, trying to get at Batman's pants, was just, like, creepy and just not necessary at all.
I have 10 movies. Here's how we're going to do this. I'll just, you know what? We might just put a poll up for, like, we'll do, like, the Michael Keaton set. You know what? We might just do it. We might just put up who's a better Batman, Ben Affleck or Val Kilmer. We'll just see what happens.
Oh my God! If I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm putting this out there for the listeners, and this will tell me what the listeners actually think of me. If Val Kilmer beats Ben Affleck, I will stop doing podcasts.
No, please don't, because I need a co-host.
No, I'm not going to actually do that. But like, all right, let me do some. I'll do something more. If Val Kilmer wins over Ben Affleck, I will. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Like, I'll figure it out. But I'm very confident, even if it's by a small margin.
If Val Kilmer defeats Ben Affleck as Batman, I get to pick what you cosplay as at C2E2.
Oh no, please don't. Let's do. All right, I'll make you a deal. If Val Kilmer wins, this will be a little bit easier on everybody. If Val Kilmer wins in the poll against Ben Affleck, I will write an article on why Batman Forever is the greatest Batman movie of all time.
I'll take that bet. And if Ben Affleck wins, I'll write an article about how great he was in Phantoms. So we're 100%.
You would have bombed in Phantoms,
Joe. And that's all the article will be.
That's it. One line. That's it.
You can't. I just now we're gonna have like this poll, like live poll, and it's gonna be on the website, and it's just gonna be.
Ben Affleck is an Oscar-winning performer. Val Kilmer sucks. That's okay. All right, to get more into it, the reason why I hate his portrayal is, say what you will about George Clooney, but he at least brought some energy to the role. Val Kilmer he had one emotion on his face throughout the entire fucking movie.
Well,
he's not only the worst Bruce Wayne, he's a terrible fucking Batman. The fucking bat nipples, that's where the bat nipples started.
No, the bat nipples actually started in the other movie. Like they did. Okay, so there was a little circle there. They were almost there, but they weren't. And then in the George Clooney one, you actually see the full nip. I don't understand the point of adding nipples to the bat suit, but that's still another argument I would like to have.
Val Kilmer is an okay actor. He's not a great actor. He's been in some good movies, but that's it. He's been in good movies. He hasn't been good in them. He's been in good movies. The movies that you think of that Val Kilmer is a good actor is not because he's a good performer, but because the writing and the production behind him was stellar. Like, take, for example, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Like Shane Black, and he had Robert Downey Jr. to act off of. Robert Downey Jr. is going to make anybody look good.
Oh, yeah.
Val Kilmer's just not, like, to boil it down to brass tacks, he's just not a good actor, and he's very flat and monotone, and he brought, like, nothing to that role. Like, I get that the character of Batman is a brooding one, and that's kind of his thing. So I understand that there's not a lot of flexibility in terms of emotion, but Ben Affleck at least brought energy to the role. Val Kilmer there was nothing there. And then his fucking romance with Nicole Kidman's Chase Meridian. Holy shit, what a miscalculation on her part. Man, I bet she regrets being in that fucking movie.
I regret her being in that movie, but that's another argument for another day.
And like Jim Carrey was one of the saving graces of that movie, but when I was young, I worshipped at the altar of Jim Carrey. Like, he could do no fucking wrong, in my opinion. And I watch him now, and I cringe because he's still doing the same thing he did 20 years ago. He's not changed
I disagree with
or
that.
evolved as a performer. Yeah, he's done some dark, dramatic roles, but you still can't get over it. He's the guy that does the stupid cartoon faces. Like, he's not actually a comedian. He just does goofy faces. That's it. And makes strange noises. There's nothing to it.
Jim Carrey's best movie, by the way, is Man on the Moon. If anybody wants to argue that, well, you're wrong. So,
I think Jim Carrey's best movie is not Man on the Moon is up there. It's like top 3 for sure. Probably even his second best movie. But I think the best movie that Jim Carrey's ever been in is, what was the name of that fucking movie?
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I know it's either that's the other one that I was like, okay, I'll give you that one.
That was like the first dramatic movie he was in where it being Jim Carrey wasn't a distraction.
I will
like every
say
movie that he's been in, it's especially the ones where he's not a comedian or he's not being stupid goofy. It's like it's dramatic and it's a good movie, but you're distracted because it's Jim Carrey because that's what you know him for. Whereas Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind comes along. And that's just an honest to God great performance from a guy you would never have expected that from. So that movie gets a pass. But then you get then after that came he did that movie, I don't know if it was after or before, The Number 23.
Yeah,
which was
that movie was bad.
Was awful. And you know who directed that movie? Fucking Joel Schumacher. So there you go.
Maybe it's just Joel Schumacher who sucks.
And he hasn't always sucked. Like, if you've ever seen the movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage, that is a downright disturbing fucking movie.
But can I point out something, though? You were talking about how Ben Affleck won an Oscar. That's very true. But Ben Affleck has also been has won a ton of Razzie Awards. And even was nominated for the worst actor of the decade.
If you bring up Geely, so help me God, I will punt you.
Nope. Daredevil.
I can't argue that. I really can't. That is a really shitty movie. I cannot argue that.
Daredevil.
I just think
we're gonna have a poll.
I just think
Val Kilmer versus Ben Affleck. Who's the best Batman?
Okay.
It'll go up tomorrow. This episode goes up on Thursday night. Right after this episode, probably Friday morning, I'll put the poll up on the website and I'll let it run a week. I'll let it run till we record again, which is next Wednesday. So when we record that episode, we know who wins.
Okay.
There we go. All right. After this huge battle, I feel like it's time to name the top 5 sitcoms of all time. Now,
Let's do it.
Because we needed a palate cleanser from yelling at each other. You fucking dickbag. And
you cocksnocker.
So here we go. What are the 5 best sitcoms of all time?
I can't do them in any particular.
Yeah, no. At this point, I don't feel like there is any order.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Let's go one. Let's go back and forth. Let's do one of. Let's see if any of these make our. Like, hey, this is a great sitcom.
Okay. I'm gonna start with Parks and Recreation.
I love Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec. Like, okay, so I know there's always this argument: either you're a fan of The Office or you're a fan of Parks and Rec. I'm a fan of both. I do think Parks and Rec is funnier.
I feel it's even more heartfelt too.
I don't think that. I think I didn't cry as much in Parks and Rec as I did The Office, but I feel like I got attached to The Office characters a lot more quickly than I did the Parks and Rec characters. Because up until season 2, look, I did not like the cast until Rob Lowe and I cannot think of his other name, but the guy who plays Ben Wyatt shows up.
Adam Scott.
Yeah, Adam Scott shows up. I just did not enjoy that show until they came into the picture as much. It was good. It just wasn't.
Which was the second? Was the second or the third season?
It was the end of the second season, and then they became regular mainstays, and the one guy left. And I was like, after he left, that show just hit. That show went full out. We strapped the
hit its stride.
Yeah. But I
agreed.
I'm not arguing with you on that. I thought that was a great show, and I still do. And it's one of those shows I'll watch every year.
And it's got one of the best series finales I've ever seen.
Yeah, no,
it's just such a good series.
Agreed. Finale. No, I agree, because I mean that show ends so well, and it's open ended, and that's great. I love open ended finales. I'm gonna pick one that's older.
Okay.
Because I feel like I don't want to just do more new ones because I can. That's not hard for me. But I am going to pick The Golden Girls.
Okay.
Dude, that show is
I can't argue that. I wouldn't put it in my top 5, but...
Yeah, no, that one's like... But that show's so damn funny. Good God. The wit, the writing on that show. The best. Yeah, the quick wit on that show is so... Like, Ashley and I, that's what we're watching right now. Because I was like, I want to watch something that's kind of fun, but I don't have to really invest into it. And all the episodes are on Hulu, and I'm like, I'm going to watch some old ladies make fun of each other and talk about sex all day long, and they are hysterical. My God.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I can. I mean, like, again, it's not one of my favorites, but it's entertaining as hell, and it's funny. So I'll give you that.
All right, what's yours? Next up.
I think most of my picks are going to be modern, to be honest with you.
I'll like counterbalance.
My next one is definitely...
I'll counterbalance.
I think my next one is going to be 30 Rock.
You know, I need to start watching 30 Rock. I haven't really sat down and been like, I'm gonna do this show. I haven't done it yet.
It's so funny, and it's very smart. Like, it doesn't play its audience. Not saying that sitcoms typically do, but it's very funny. It's very smart. It's excellently written. Tina Fey is a comedy god.
Agreed.
Like, it's just Alec Baldwin is a revelation as Jack Donaghy. Like, all these people that are in the show are they're operating on an unparalleled level of comedic genius. Like, there's usually, when you get sitcoms, there's always like a season where it's kind of just like not as good as the stuff that comes before it or the stuff that comes after.
Right.
But I can't think of a single bad season of 30 Rock.
I'm going to go out of my way to watch that one. I think that one's going to be... I need to watch something new, but I also don't want to invest time just yet. So I think when the time comes where I'm kind of just relaxing, that's going to be my next one. Okay. So not seeing it kind of sucks for me, but I get it. I'm going to call it. This one's probably going to be fun for me to say. I grew up watching this show, and I think it says a lot about who I am today. I was just never allowed. I was just never allowed to go to school the next day and repeat it.
Okay.
It is set in Chicago. It is about a shoe salesman.
Married with Children?
Married with fucking children, yep.
That's a good one, too. It's a classic.
Do you know the story behind that show?
Like, these ones are classics. What's up?
Do you know the story behind that show?
What story?
So Married with Children was not going to be called Married with Children. Number one,
What was it going to be
Ed
called?
O'Neill was not supposed to be Al Bundy. It was originally supposed to be stand-up comic.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Sam Kinison. So there's a pilot.
Oh, was that? And then he...
Well, no, he just didn't. He couldn't act. So they figured out, well, let's make it Ed O'Neill. And the original title for the show was Not the Cosbys.
Not the Cosbys. I love it.
And they switched it over to Married with Children. And Katie Seagal's a national treasure.
Yeah, she is. She's so good.
Love that show so much. That show, so ahead of its time. And Fox killed it in that early run right there.
Now, do animated shows count as sitcoms?
I don't think we can put adult cartoons on here. I think it needs to be its own separate list because I feel there's so many great adult cartoons that could possibly just infiltrate the sitcom world. Because I feel Archer could be on this list. I feel
Archer, Simpsons, Bob's
King of the Hill,
South Park,
so many, yeah.
Okay. My next one is going to be a super recent one, like super recent that I just got into. But like I watched all 6 seasons of it and then immediately started watching it again after I finished binging it.
Letterkenny.
I'm going Letterkenny.
Yeah, no, that's in my top 5.
It's so fucking like just why don't you go ahead and give your balls there, Doug, man? Like just the way they talk to each other, and like when we one of the first time I laughed super out loud, was when like I forget what the conversation was taking place, but Wayne says to Squirrely Dan, he's like, "Does a duck drag its boner through the weeds?" Like, what does that make? It doesn't make any sense, but it's just so funny, and it's so like it's not extremely heartfelt. There is heart to it. But it's definitely more like crass humor. But it's very, very well plotted for being a show about Canadian rednecks. And you care about the characters. And it's super fun. Like, I haven't laughed out loud that much in a sitcom in a very long time. So my third pick is going to be Letterkenny.
My favorite conversation in Letterkenny comes from when they're going to they ended up at the cookout with the other drug dealer.
Yes.
And they end up talking about how to cook a steak. And it's just
my God.
certified bird of beef. And it just all of a sudden, it's like one of the greatest conversations in that show's run.
Like just the way they talk, and like every time Wayne's like, oh, "It's going to be a hard no," like just the way they, the language, the talk, the way they speak to each other. It's good fucking comedy, and every single episode has many like just super laugh out loud, like the 2 hockey dudes.
Oh God, yes. Oh God,
like. It's comedic genius. It's lowbrow humor. It's very lowbrow humor.
But it's also really smart lowbrow humor.
Fucking good.
Which is okay.
It is. It's
so when you get lowbrow humor, you never like. I'm just gonna say this: you never get like smart humor with lowbrow. It's always just dick and fart jokes. But to me, this is what Canadian Clerks would be, because I don't see any other like. To me, this is Randall and Dante if they were Canadian.
Like when I finished it, and I finished the whole show in like 2 days. Like I was so obsessed with it. When I finished it, the first thought I had was, this is like if Tina Fey wrote for Trailer Park Boys.
No, that's a good one too. Yeah. How are you? Good and you.
But bad. It is just, huh?
Oh, I'm just quoting the show now.
It's so funny, and I don't know why it took me forever to get into it. You kept asking me to watch it, and I kept butting up against it. And for whatever fucking reason, I didn't, settle into it. But then I finally did, and I fucking loved it. So it's definitely like I know that I just recently watched it, so it's kind of like I can understand people making the argument, well, how can you make it an all-timer if you literally just started watching it? But I binged 6 seasons in 2 days, and then a week later immediately started watching it again. Like, this is just the most funny sitcom I've seen, new sitcom I've seen in years. So definitely my third pick for sure.
I expect the new season to be coming probably around Thanksgiving, because that seems to be when they release their seasons. I
hope so.
That's when they all released on Hulu, by the way. It was right around Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'm like, this is great. I figure there'll be a season 7. So
there has to be. Season 6 ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, and it's such a good cliffhanger too. Like, you just don't see. Like, I remember that. Okay, so that's one show I didn't expect to get invested into the characters as much as I did, and then I'm just like, well, son of a bitch, Bonnie McMurray, son of a bitch. I love you,
Bonnie McMurray.
Cracks
the whole episode where they're stuck in the bar because they think it's haunted.
Oh, gee. The Halloween episode alone, where Bonnie comes in with different outfits on, and they're like, why are you wearing that? And then Wayne just like, you got to take care of the kids today at the softball game? And it's just like, yup. Like, what? It's always for charity.
Wayne is my spirit guide.
Oh,
he's my favorite character on the show. Him and Squirrely Dan for sure.
Allegedly.
It is an instant classic, and we really don't get those anymore, to be honest with you.
To me, that show is very, very much probably one of the best shows. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. There is no argument here for me. I'm going to pick another Canadian show, and a completely different style of Canadian show at that, and that is Corner Gas. And I have talked about this show numerous times. It's on Amazon.
What show? I didn't. You cut
Corner Gas.
Okay.
It's about a small town in Canada it's about a gas station in a small town in Canada. And the first joke is so fucking sarcastic in the show. It just sets the tempo. So an out-of-town person pulls up to the gas station and goes, well, there's not much to do around here. And Brent turns around and goes, what do you mean? We have a beautiful view. And it's just, what the hell happened to the mountains? And it's great. Like, I mean, it's in the plains.
Gas?
Yeah.
Where is it streaming on?
Amazon Prime. All 6 seasons in the movie.
I'll check it out.
It's a lot of people refer to it as the Canadian version of Seinfeld. It's really dry, and that's the thing with Canada humor. It's it's just always going to be dry. But I fell in love with that sitcom. Okay. It is so sarcastic. It is so funny. There's an episode where the Ruby there's a cafe that's attached to the gas station, and a giant gust of wind comes through a storm, and it blows off the F and the E in the word cafe. And the entire episode, Lacey keeps trying to find, have you seen my F and E? And it's so fucking great. Or the episode where
pretty fucking funny.
Or the episode where they start a fondue club. And the entire in the entire episode, Hank goes around going, the first rule of fondue club is you don't talk about fondue club. And it's so good. It's so fucking good. Now there's an animated series.
Okay.
But it is very Canadian. Very Canadian. So.
Well, we're 2 for 2 on Canadian sitcoms.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure.
They must be doing something right.
I'm 100% sure I'm going to actually go with the UK with my next one. So go ahead.
Ooh, really? Because I think I'm going UK on my last one.
I might do 2 UK ones. Have I said? No, I've said that was number 3. Okay, yeah, no, I've got 2 left. Go for it.
Okay, so my fourth pick. I was going to pick Seinfeld just because it's so iconic, but I don't want to pick it because I want to, I would pick it just because it's iconic. I mean, there are some episodes that are funny and there are some episodes that are not. So it's top 10 easy for me, but I don't think it cracks the top 5. So I'm leaving that one off. But I'm going to pick one. My last 2 are going to be very oddball choices, I think. My fourth one is going to be News Radio.
Love News Radio. Son of a bitch. That's a great
News
show.
Radio is classic. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. I haven't watched it recently, but Dave Foley is a comedy god. Phil Hartman is amazing. It's such a good it was like a lot of the humor went above my head because that was on during a time when I wasn't, I didn't grasp a lot of the adult jokes. But it was just such a funny fucking show. Like seeing Phil Hartman and Dave Foley together. And I know there was a big cast, and I know it wasn't just those two.
But those are the two you remember.
Exactly. So definitely, it was honestly, Richard, it was a toss-up between News Radio and WKRP Cincinnati.
Love WKRP in Cincinnati.
But I think at the end of the day, I got to go News Radio just because I laughed more during that one.
So you stick Dave Foley in anything, and I'm 100% there. In fact, I'm going to say something right now that's probably controversial to a point. I'm going to do an article coming up of Amanda's got a list tonight or this week that goes up, and I'm going to do a list next week. It's going to be the top 5 sketch comedy shows that aren't SNL. And number one, like everyone believes that the number one probably should be Monty Python, but it's in the top 5. But I don't think it's it's not number one. To me, that is the Kids in the Hall, and no one.
Dude, Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, no, that show's great. Anytime I see Dave Foley, Mark McKinney, who's also in Superstore, which is really funny, and also in an episode of Corner Gas where he plays an American tourist, and that episode is so fucking hysterical. Because the town gets an ATM in a liquor store that sells insurance. And it's so funny because like the entire town starts hanging around the ATM and just talking instead of hanging out at the restaurant.
Okay.
But they take the two, like they're like, what can you do here? And they keep talking about how Davis has a really big pile of wood. And that's exactly what they do. I'm telling you, it's a dry episode. It's a dry show. But
so yeah, definitely News Radio would be my 4th pick. I mean, I don't have a lot of reasons to elaborate. It's just really good. It's really funny. It's one people forget about, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about that until you said that. Yeah. Dude.
You will definitely be rewarded with some of the best comedy.
News Radio, such an underrated sitcom. And such a, like I said, though, I'm with you. Dave Foley, probably one of the best comic television actors of all time. And the same with all 5 of those guys in the Kids in the Hall. The only one I've never seen in anything else is Scott Thompson, and I've never seen really Bruce McCullough in anything else. But if Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, or Dave Foley show up in something, holy crap! All right,
you're in for a good time.
Yeah, number 4, the IT Crowd.
Ooh, that's a good one. Not the same UK show.
No. Pick, but if there is a show that is probably super quotable, one, I thought Maurice was going to be fucking the doctor this time. I didn't think it was going to be a female doctor.
I really wanted him to be. He would make such a good doctor.
He's hosting a game show.
I'm glad Jodie's the doctor.
I like her. I don't like the writing, but I like her. So, but
yes, agreed.
But the thing with that show is like there's so many great moments that happen in that show, but the most quotable line does come from, and I can't think of his name, but it's people, what a bunch of bastards. And for some reason, anytime I get a chance to apply that GIF anywhere, I'm fucking doing it. So
I love I'm here to kick butt or kick ass and drink milk, and I'm all out of milk. It's a good what kind of software does it run? Windows 10. Oh shit.
Have you tried turning it on and off?
It's a good one. Have you tried turning it off?
Is it plugged in?
That's a good one. I agree. 100%. I can almost I didn't forget about it because it's a brilliant show, but I haven't watched it in a while, so that might be one I have to go back and binge in a little bit.
All right.
Can I do an honorable mention before I pick my last one?
I'm 100% fine with that.
I want to do an honorable mention. There's this. I don't know if you've heard of it. You might have. My honorable mention is also a UK show.
Okay.
Called Peep Show.
I love Peep Show.
Peep Show was it was not one that I had ever heard of, but I was just cruising on Netflix. It was on Netflix back in the day. And I love the way they filmed it from the point of view perspective of the character.
Right.
And the 2 roommates, the chemistry that Mark and I forget what the other guy's name was, that they have is spot on. And it's very dark humor. It's also very dry, obviously, because it's British. Right. But it's very dark humor, and it's really, really, really good. I don't know if it's even streaming anywhere anymore, to be honest with you. I wouldn't know where to look. But if you guys get the chance to check it out, definitely Peep Show. But then my final real pick is also a British show. It's very short-lived. I think it's only like 3 seasons. Maybe it's just 2 seasons. It's probably just 2 seasons, I think. People forget about it a lot, especially considering a lot of the people that are in it are very much famous for other things nowadays.
Right.
But my final pick is definitely going to be Spaced.
Very good show.
It's very short-lived. It's 2 seasons long, but it's British dry humor mixed with nerd culture. Like, there's a whole episode where Simon Pegg is playing Resident Evil 2, and he's like high as a kite, and he starts hallucinating that he's in the zombie apocalypse. And it's just funny because he's using the PlayStation controller as a gun, and it's dumb. It's broad humor, but it's also very British and dry. And it just sitcoms, other than that blackface for nerds called The Big Bang Theory, you don't get a lot of sitcoms that represent nerd culture effectively. And Spaced, even in its very short run, very, very perfectly encapsulated what it's like to be a nerd in current pop culture, or at least at that point. And it just, seeing Nick Frost and Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright and all those dudes come together for the first time, like, you see Shaun of the Dead and you're like, oh, this is brilliant. Then you see Hot Fuzz and you're like, oh, this is brilliant. Or any of the movies they've done together, and it's brilliant. But watching Spaced is like you get a peek at behind the curtain to see where it all came from, like where it all started.
Right.
And in honestly a lot of ways, Spaced is even better than those movies. In a lot of ways. Not all ways, but in a lot of ways. But Spaced is definitely, it's
a really good show.
100%.
It's a damn good show. I'm going to come out of left field for one. It only it's another UK show. Of course it's a UK show. Why would it not be? Do I have an honorable mention? Let me think about that real quick. Do I have one that could make the list? I got plenty. I'm trying to think here. What's besides The Office, because I feel for me that's just a given. I'm trying to think. I do enjoy the Goldbergs, but I don't think I'd put it in the top. My mind is blank. I'll give you an honorable mention. I'll give you one.
Okay.
There was one sitcom I grew up with that I fucking loved, and it came out like right when I hit like middle school years, and I every week on Wednesday nights I'd be watching it, and it's the Drew Carey Show.
We did watch the Drew Carey Show as a family. I'll give you that one.
I thought that one was a pretty funny show, and it still holds up decently well. So, my number 5.
I think my favorite thing about.
No, go ahead.
I think my favorite thing about, just to hit on Drew Carey real quick, I think the best thing about the show, and I think anyone will agree with you, is definitely the interactions between Drew Carey and Mimi.
Oh yeah, no. Like I'm watching My Name is Earl, and the girl who plays Mimi is in it. Like she's a cop, and Ashley looks at her and goes, "Is that Mimi without makeup? Holy shit!"
Yeah, she's kind of like, even though she really does look similar, she is kind of unrecognizable.
Yeah, no. Like when you go from that different of a character to that, it's like, oh. My number 5 is a British show that not a lot of people have heard of, at least in America. It ran for 3 seasons of 6 episodes.
What show?
Black Books.
Is that the one where the dude runs the bookshop and he's like all morose and shit?
Yep.
My wife loves that.
Black Books is freaking hysterical.
She's tried repeatedly to get me into it, and I just haven't been able to for whatever reason.
Episode 3.
I don't know why, because I love that kind of humor.
Oh, it's a humor so good, and he's so like everybody's so quick-witted in that show. But episode 3, where they house sit for a friend, and like they end up drinking a bottle of wine they shouldn't have, and then they remake the bottle of wine, and it ends up going to the Pope, and they kill the Pope. Might be one of the funniest episodes of television history. Yeah. Not to mention, just the whole they hire some guy to come in and clean the place up because it's cluttered, and he when they do the dusting thing and they put on the white glove.
Yeah,
he runs his hand through the air and it has dirt on it. I'm like, that is a fucking sight gag that I have never seen before, and I love it. And all he could say is dirty. Like, he would just touch stuff and go, dirty. I'm like, God damn. It's so creepy. It's so funny. So funny. I recommend that show, especially
So
if
I
you
think
enjoy
if anyone,
wine.
so I think the one thing listeners can kind of learn from this conversation is that we like Canadian sitcoms and British sitcoms.
I just like sitcoms. My Name is Earl would probably make my list. Arrested Development would make my list for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, that 4th season's kind of an abomination.
So is the 5th one.
Earl, definitely for me.
Flight of the Conchords.
I've never watched that one.
How I Met Your Mother, but the last season kills it. Community. Okay, so let me say something about Community. Season 1 of Community is good, but seasons 2 through 5 might be some of the best sitcom writing I've ever seen.
Okay,
if
I've never watched Community, so
it's got John Oliver and Joel McHale and Childish Gambino. Like, I mean, the cast is great.
I love John Oliver.
You should go out of your way to see it. Dean Pelton's hilarious. Like, Community's on Hulu. That should be your next sitcom. But season 1 is not as good as the others.
I think the thing that's blocking me from Community is Chevy Chase.
Oh, he's great in it, though.
Like, I don't like late era Chevy Chase at all. I like old school Chevy Chase 100%.
So he's very much a racist character in this show. Like, he's just old, bitter, has money character that's going to community college. And they hate him. And they give him so much shit. But the best episode of Community, they do a spoof of the Civil War documentaries by Ken Burns. And so what happens is Troy and Abed build, like, they're trying to build the world's biggest blanket fort. And they run out of blankets. So they have to expand using pillows. And it turns into a civil war with Troy on one side, Abed on the other. One's representing pillows, the other one's representing blankets, and it turns into a Civil War episode. And it is fucking hysterical. The guy who plays Senor Chow in The Hangover, Ken Jeong, is also in this. Is a teacher. He's a Spanish teacher.
I know the Community has like a big cult following.
Oh, and it's worth it.
Do
you enjoy Rick and Morty, right?
Oh, I fucking love Rick and Morty.
Same guy.
Really?
Yep, it's Dan. It's a Dan Harmon show.
I love Dan Harmon.
So yeah, I recommend Community. If you've not gone out of your way to see that one, I recommend that one.
All right. I mean, I'm still like knee deep in 24, but once I finish 24, that'll be the next one I hit up.
Yeah, no, that show, like, again, the paintball episodes are completely worth it too. Like, they're always 2-parters, over the top. The entire college has a paintball war. Fucking fantastic. Yeah.
You sold me. I'm down.
And you've got to enjoy a few of those people. All right. I think that's going to wrap up this edition of Live. Next week, we're going to find out if Brody has to write an article about the greatness that is Val Kilmer.
God, I hope you eat those words.
Oh, you have no
idea.
I
really like. Please, listeners, don't fail me on this one. Like, if you guys vote for Ben Affleck, I will show up to every one of your houses with a Big Mac ready for you, and I'll serve it to you in nothing but swim trunks.
Well, you're fucked. Our listeners are more. Yep. You said McDonald's, and our listeners are more fans of Wendy's. Yep, you're screwed. So that's
all right. Well, then I will show up to all your houses with a Baconator and serve them to you in bright pink shorts
with some spicy nugs. Love me some spicy nuggets. God, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Next week's show, I don't know what we've got planned. It's kind of just winging it. I was gonna write bits up this week, and then Memorial Day happened, and I went to a barbecue and was around a bonfire all night and got sick. So,
Jesus,
I had a migraine from it. Like I inhaled so much smoke, I guess I got a migraine from it. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a hookah bar once and got definitely sick for that very same reason.
Yeah, no, like I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm not really big on smoke. So there you go. We got a lot to discuss. The next Brody and Richard show will be next week. This week we've got a special interview going up on Saturday. So, yeah. And I'm trying to think what else do we have coming up. This week, a new episode of Cinecrap. The return of Cinecrap this Friday, tomorrow. And that episode is going to be a movie that I forgot about until I watched it. So we were, and it is with Sharon, by the way. So if you're a fan of Sharon, she will be on the show. So we were trying to find a movie to watch, and it came down to two movies. It came down to Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion and An American Tail 5 Goes West.
Wow. Wow. I would love to hear the conversation that those two suggestions.
And we did not, and we selected a movie that was neither one of those.
What did you guys pick?
Not another teen movie.
I have such fond memories of that movie from high school.
It's not okay.
I haven't watched it since.
I thought that movie was going to be really bad, and then we watched it, and I was like, it is a very underrated movie. Very underrated. But you get to hear me sing the song from the movie. So, because I remembered all the words. Yeah.
The Marilyn Manson version of Tainted Love?
No, the actual musical song where they're all
I know. I was just
the Prom Tonight song. By the way, you know who else is in that movie? Good fucking Charlotte.
Captain America's in that movie.
Yeah, we get to see his ass covered in whipped cream with a banana in it.
That's America's ass.
That's America's ass with a banana. It's a good movie. It's really like, go out of your way to see that one. That comes out Sunday SNS. We're going to talk about the fallout of Double or Nothing and how WWE responded this week, as well as it might be a watch along. I have not 100% committed, but that could happen this Sunday. And then Monday.
What do you mean by watch along?
Go to the WWE. We're going to pick a show on the WWE Network, and you get to watch with us as we make fun of it because Ashley's a new fan. So here's the thing with Ashley. Ashley's never seen old shows at all. And if you really want a perspective of how things are for a new fan who's never seen shows from the 80s and the 90s, those episodes last year of Why WWE, where I'm trying to teach Ashley things, and the only thing she can hype on is like the outfits were terrible. It is fucking hysterical to watch a show with her. So we might actually do a full watch along this time.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
And I don't know. It's going to be an older show. I just don't know which one yet. And it's probably going to be a bad show because fuck that. She doesn't get to watch good stuff yet. And then next week, of course, next week, striking a chord, we're back to normal.
You know what you should make her watch? You should make her watch the 1999 pay-per-view St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
You know that happened in Memphis?
Did it really?
Yeah, that's not that far.
That would explain why The Rock was singing Elvis during that pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually, yeah. So that's going to wrap up this edition. I've got nothing else. If you would like to add something, this is your opportunity.
No, I've got nothing else. It's been a fun show. We talked another random episode, but fun one. I'm looking forward to seeing the poll results next week, and I'm looking forward to come back, talk about more random shit, and I'm looking forward to doing Brody and Richard next week.
And then next week, the return of Video Killed, and then the next week, me and you are recording, God help us, for Cinecrap, Spice World.
Oh, God, I so can't wait to watch that movie again. Like, I want to watch it once in preparation before then, but now I'm thinking I kind of want to just save my reactions my first time, because I haven't watched that movie, Richard, since it was in theaters all those years ago. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see what my reaction is.
I take that back. I watched it once when it was on the USA Network. So
nope, I haven't even watched it at all, so I'm very much looking forward to this.
Do you know who's in that movie? Hugh Laurie.
Is he really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he like their manager or something?
No, he's in it for like half a second.
No, okay.
But he's in it. So, until next week, we are going to wrap up this show like we do every other show, and that's with the one and only Torgo. Sir, you know what to do. Take us home tonight.
You cannot stay. The master would not approve.